So I was reading the CV of Dr. Hewat Menker, and Dr. Hewat holds a PhD in environmental economics from University of Pretoria, South Africa, and a master's degree in agricultural economics from Alma University. There she lectured economics courses and was involved in preparing strategic and action plan documents of the university. She was also postdoc researcher at University in South Africa. Some of her research experiences include crop diversification and nutrition security in sub-Saharan Africa, land use decision making under uncertainty using climate change on agricultural production and carbon storage functions of forests by God. तो कट रहा है क्या? हाँ?
कट रहा है सर, कट रहा है।
अब सही हो रहा है? अब सुनाई दे रहा है?
अभी आ रही है आवाज।
Okay. Now we are. It will take time. Hi, it's connected. It's connected. Are you able to hear me well?
Yeah.
Okay. So she was also postdoc researcher at University of Johannesburg and Tasmania University of Technology in South Africa. Some of her research experiences include crop diversification and nutrition security in sub-Saharan Africa, land use decision making under uncertainty using dynamic optimization framework by considering the impact of climate change on agricultural production and carbon storage functions of forests, then drivers of land use allocations among agriculture, forest and grassland and shrublands in southern regional state of Ethiopia, affordability and social goals of residential water tariff structure in South Africa, greenhouse gas contribution of meat consumption in South Africa, impact assessment of provision of finance and training on performance of MSCs in urban Ethiopia and women's workload, and their role in agricultural production by assessing the impact of labor-saving technologies on agricultural performance of households, especially women-headed households. A number of articles and reports have been produced from her research work. Some are published in international and local journals, including Journal of Forest Policy and Economics and African Journal of Agriculture and Resource Economics and Partnership for Economic Policy Working Paper Series, while others are under review in Journal of Feminist Economics and Journal of World Development. Together with her colleagues, she has won grants for two projects. They are financial inclusion, gender disparity and risk appetite, and micro and small enterprise performance evidence from urban Ethiopia from Partnership for Economic Policy in 2017, and a Climate Research for Development Fellowship Award for the project Crop Diversification and Security Evidence from Sub-Saharan Africa in June 2019. She had received Best Practice Award from Partnership for Economic Policy in 2018. This was the time when I met her in Bangalore and saw her presentation. Dr. Hewat's research work have been presented among others at Biennial Conference of the Economic Society of South Africa 2019, PEP Annual Conference, Bangalore, India 2018, World Congress of Environmental and Resource Economists, Istanbul, Turkey 2014, the 50th Annual Conference of the Agricultural Economics Association of South Africa 2012 and 2011 Annual Conference of the Agricultural Economics Association of South Africa, European Science Foundation, African Conference on Dynamic Interlinks between Social Ecosystems and Changes, towards a Europe-Africa Partnership 2010. Dr. Hewath is also proficient in economic data analysis using panel time series and survey data. Oh, that was quite a long one, I suppose. I did justice. Dr. Hewath, if I made any mistakes, you will forgive me. I now upon call Dr. Hewath to start her presentation.
Madam, please share your PowerPoint.
Please unmute yourself.
Yes.
We are unable to
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So let me share the screen. Can you see? Can you see the?
Not yet.
Okay.
It is coming.
It's coming?
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Let
is
me
coming.
start.
Yeah, please. Yes. Yes, please.
Okay. So you can tell me when I'm left with 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the title, sorry. The title of my presentation is Agricultural Investment in the Face of Climate Change and Climate Finance. It's a case study of the Southern Nations and Nationalist Peoples Region Forests of Ethiopia. I just want to share the experience of the agricultural investment to India from Ethiopia. Introduction. Land use and land cover change causes global warming through the emission of greenhouse gases, and it affects the ability of biological systems to support human needs. That is, it affects the vulnerability of places and people to climatic, economic, and socio-political perturbations. For instance, land use change observed in Ethiopian highlands has led to reduced surface runoff and water retention capacity and stream flow, among others. It has led also to loss of fertile soil, biodiversity, and increased landsliding and sediment loads in rivers are observed. Globally, large-scale commercial agriculture, local subsistence agriculture, infrastructure, urban expansion, and mining account for 40%, 33%, 10%, and 7% of global forest conversion, respectively. The main conversion being commercial agriculture. And deforestation in Ethiopia shows an upward trend. The distribution of forest cover in the country was 15,114 hectares in the year of 1990, and it has decreased to 12.29 million hectares in 2010. So it shows a declining trend. Large-scale agricultural investments in dense southwest tropical rainforests of Ethiopia are given to private investors to develop coffee, tea, and rubber plantations. And the forest cover in other areas of the tropics and subtropics has been decreasing. As a case in point, forest cover in India is reported to show a considerable reduction during 2007 and 2017 year, where Eastern Himalayas and Western Himalayas are taking the major share of that decline. To discourage the unsustainable land use practices, understanding of drivers of land use change is important. Absence of markets for some of the benefits of forest land uses and adverse development policies are found to be the major drivers in Ethiopia, whereas in India, shifting cultivation, rotational tree felling, diversion of forest land for development activities are the major drivers of deforestation, among others. There are a number of case studies conducted globally, and these case studies conducted in many forested areas in the world to analyze optimal land use of optimal land use between agriculture and forestry show that they considered economic values as the resource gives to forest communities. They focus mostly on both poverty reduction and tropical forest conservation only through sustainably managing non-timber forest products. But single benefit streams, especially non-timber forest products, couldn't be successful as forest use couldn't outcompete agriculture, even in many regions of the world. This is even in a case where there is forest coffee production in Ethiopia. Many studies also miss to incorporate the indirect and non-use values of forests in their analysis. The conversion of primary forest to agriculture is considered an irreversible loss, particularly regarding its biodiversity function. As a result, the decision to develop forests should be made cautiously, and this becomes even more critical as the benefits from tropical rainforests are uncertain. Tropical rainforests are one of the environmental assets, as we know, where we have only limited information. So the above two phenomena make the conventional or traditional cost-benefit analysis rules not to be appropriate to use in the analysis of optimal land use decision. In addition, land use decisions are affected by availability of funding for non-market products like carbon storage values, but the Convention on Biodiversity and Framework on Climate Change signed in 1992 and recent concerns about global warming provide many developing country governments with strong incentives conserving their forests. Carbon market is one of the major mechanisms through which developing countries would be rewarded financially by the developed nations for sustaining and improving carbon sink capacity of their forests. Hence, in this study, land use decision of agricultural investment is modeled by taking account of multiple benefits of forests, uncertainty in the forest benefits, and irreversibility of forest conversion. The objective of the study is to determine the optimal land allocation between forest land and agricultural land by comparing benefits from forest and agricultural use. In this case, agricultural use is for tea plantations. This will help to recommend for improved resource management policy. The study area, as you can see in the map, is the Southern Nations and National Peoples region, where if you see at the left corner, there is what it's called a Sheka forest, where it is dominated by primary forest. But I'm showing the general Southern Nations region as it is interrelated in different socio-economic and population, many aspects, many issues in Shaka are related with other aspects of SNNPR, the southern regions, as it is within the regional autonomy of that region. So the Southern Nations and National Peoples region is located in the southern west part of Ethiopia. It shares boundary with Kenya in south, Sudan in the west and southwest, and with Oromia region of Ethiopia in northwest, north and east. And at the time of the study, the population size was 15 million, close to 15 million, with a density of 136 persons per square meter. And the population is forecasted to grow at 2.9 per annum. The rural population dominates this population figure, where 90% of total population is residing in rural areas. And the mean annual rainfall of the region ranges between 400 millimeter in the extreme south of the region to over 2,200 millimeter in the west part of Shaka and Kafa zones for the last 30 years. And the temperature ranges between 21 and 31 degrees Celsius, but in the minimum ranges between 11 and 18.4 degrees Celsius. So basically this is a study area, but our focus is only on Shaka forest. The analytical framework used for the study is a continuous time stochastic dynamic framework. And the decision to forest is analyzed using the threshold model, where incremental forest conversion to agriculture is considered, and the technique used is dynamic optimization. And the model, this is the dynamic optimization model. It chooses the optimal amount of land to convert from forest into tea production by looking at the forecasted benefit streams from forest and tea production, tea produce, that means. So the benefit function for forest or the return from forest products is assumed to follow a Brownian or Wiener process, where and total benefit from the land is summation of benefit from forest and tea production, where TB is total benefit resulting from benefit from forest and agriculture. And okay, here. And the study area's annual flow of net benefits is the sum of agriculture and forest benefits, as you can see in the formula. And the solution to the optimal choices of the two land uses is found using the Bellman optimality principle. So the total benefit or the value function in the area is, as you can see in the formula, the maximum value of net return, the discounted net return from tea production and discounted return from forest production, where the last term shows the discounted term of expected return from agriculture and forest. Maybe I don't have to dwell more on these formulas. I don't know if there is a question, I might explain it better later. So after solving this, the Bellman optimality equation, the critical benefit curve is derived. It is an inverse relationship between agriculture, return to agriculture and return to forest benefits. The next is data and model parameters. The Atlas of the Ethiopian Rural Economy was used to get information on biophysical characteristics, accessibility measures, rural demographic characteristics, and farming practices, and productivity of land with different qualities per hectare, cost and benefit of tea production, inflation, price of tea, cost of production, loss of net revenue due to climate change and temperature are gathered. Parameter values for loss of tea production from climate change are found from studies conducted previously in different parts of Ethiopia. And per hectare forest benefits in the study area are found from previous contingent valuation studies in the area. And the forecasted temperature for 50 years was calculated from the following models. Prices of carbon dioxide was also derived from these global models, and data from woody biomass was used to construct our map. So the result, The figure shows the estimated critical benefit curve, an inverse relationship between benefits from forest and agricultural land use. As you can see, when area under agriculture increases, the forest benefit decreases. So their relationship is inverse. It's obvious. And the two curves show the different benefit curves for different uncertainty values. So this is what I just explained earlier, but okay, and in the following table, the table 2 and table 3 show optimal forest stocks when the effect of climate change on tea production is considered, and the other tables show when it is not considered, and the discount rate used was 5%. So in this figure, we can see that optimal forest stocks without carbon storage values of forests, and as I have said earlier, when effect of climate change on tea production is considered. So as you can see, when uncertainty value of the, I was supposed to mention earlier, uncertainty value calculated was 0.166 and the trend parameter is 0.025. So when we look at those figures, the optimal forest stock that was supposed to be is 217,945 hectares. But in actual case, the existing forest is 107,000. It means with the existing uncertainty and the trend values, the existing forest stock is not the optimal amount, and further deforestation should not be allowed. And when we take lower values of the trend and uncertainty parameters, the recommendation is to deforest more. As you can see, the zeros are complete deforestation. So you can see that how optimal decision of land is sensitive to assumptions of trend and uncertainty parameters. The next one, this table shows the optimal forest stock when carbon storage values are considered. As you can see, the recommended forest stock values are higher compared to the previous table. This is when we consider carbon storage. That means forests are becoming more valuable. So this shows the importance of incorporating different values of forests when we deal when we start analyzing land use decisions. This one is when this table shows when effect of climate change on tea production is not considered. That means, as you know, climate change impacts agriculture. That means by decreasing output. But now if we assume that it is not going to affect the production of tea, it means tea is going to become more profitable compared to forest. So the recommendation is, as you can see, to deforest every forest every forest land available, and this also has implication for policy. The next, this table 5 shows the same the same thing when that means when climate change effect of climate change impact on tea production is not considered, but when there is carbon storage values of forests are considered. As you can see, the forest stocks are more than the previous table. Actually, the previous table shows complete removal of forest, but this one, when we consider carbon storage, it shows that the optimal amount of forest stock is positive or higher. The last table shows the sensitivity of optimal forest stocks to different discount rates. As you can see, when discount rate increases, when it increases, the amount of forest stock, the optimal forest stock that analysts recommend decreases. When you look at 10% discount rate, it's without carbon storage. So we ignore the carbon storage function of forests, and the discount rate is high. So the optimal solution will be to recommend to remove the forest completely. At least with carbon storage function, when the discount rate is 7, there is a recommendation of some kind of forest stock. When without optimal forest stock without climate change, without carbon storage function, with carbon storage function, the whole thing, this table, what it shows is the combination of the previous table, but when the discount rate is changing. So when we look only at the discount rate, sensitivity to, the forest conversion rate to sensitivity to discount rate, it means higher discount rate is leads to deforestation or complete removal in the case of 10%. And the problem is with government with social planners, when they evaluate projects, usually they use higher discount rates, which is common, especially in developing countries. They put less value to the future and put high value to the current situation. So at the end, it is a suboptimal solution. So the conclusion is the land use allocation decisions are sensitive to considerations of uncertainties, reversibility, and externalities associated with conversion of land resource use, climate change, and discounting future values. And when benefits from forests are treated as stochastic outcomes, optimal forest stocks are higher than the deterministic framework. That means additional land under agriculture is recommended in the case of deterministic framework or the traditional cost-benefit analysis framework. And finally, suboptimal decisions may also result from considering compensations for the positive global environmental externalities of carbon storage in forests. So incorporating carbon storage functions in cost-benefit analysis is very important to save the livelihoods of forests communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Menker.
Okay, thank you.
So would you like to take presentations are over?
Oh.
We will take the questions. Are any, is it okay?
Yes, are you speaking to me?
Yeah, I'm saying we may take any kind of questions.
Yes, okay, okay.
After all the presentations are over the stage to Dr. Shravan Haldhar for inviting the next lecture.
Good morning. Now, next keynote speaker is Dr. Mandal, Canning Town, Calcutta. So I read first biodata. Dr. Mandal, working as a principal scientist of agriculture economics at ICR. ICR Central Soil Salinity. Okay, sorry. Then Dr. Subhashish Mandal, working as a principal scientist of agriculture economics at ICR Central Soil Salinity Research Institute, Regional Research Station, Canning Town. from September 2014, and it's graduated from Vidhan Chandra Karsi Vishwavidhalaya in 1997. He pursued MSc Agriculture from GB Pant University in 2000 and completed PhD in Agriculture Economics from IARI in 2004. After completion of PhD, he joined as a scientist in agriculture economics at ICR Research Complex for NES region, Umiam, Meghalaya, and served up to September 2008. After that, he joined at ICR CSSRI RRRS Canning Town as a senior scientist in 2008, promoted to principal scientist in 2014. In his 15 years of career as an agriculture economist, he conducted several socio-economic studies in hill, mountain, as well as coastal agriculture farming system funded by ICR, World Bank, ACIAR, CGRI, IRRI, NABARD, DST, and other many institutes. He has also published 2 books, 55 research paper in referred national and international journal, 14 book chapter, 15 technical bulletin, popular article, and other publication. And he has awarded many awards and recognition. ICR Lal Bahadur Shastri Outstanding Young Scientist Award in 2015 in Social Science, Dr. R.T. Doshi Best Paper Presentation Award in 2005 by Agriculture Economic Research Association, Best Paper Award by IIM Calcutta during International Conference on Critical Resources, Food, Energy and Water in 2015, Dr. J.S.P. Yadav Best Paper Award by Indian Society of Coastal Agriculture Research in 2010, ICR Junior Research Fellow during Master Program, Senior Research Fellow during PhD Program, and received many other awards also. He was nominated as one of the member in task force of strengthening vocational education and training program in West Bengal, and many more achievement is there. But due to less time, I requested Dr. Mandal sir start your presentation.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Haldhar, for this introduction. And let me share the screen, then I will begin.
You share, sir. Oh, okay.
Okay. So it can be seen?
Yeah.
First of all, before saying going into the presentation, I would really like to congratulate all the organizers because this is the first seminar, national level seminar is organized on this very new topic that has been has been given by the government of India, that is towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat. So our honorable Prime Minister already has given us the vision and also the task. We can say that we have to become self-reliant, national level, regional level or local level. And for that also, not only it is the announcement, but also it has been given with the volume of investment. If you see that around the 10% of the GDP, the total value of this GDP, it has been given in the budgetary provision, like around 20 lakh crores rupees. The first time it has been given so much of trust on different aspects, and that includes the agriculture also. The agriculture sector, it has been given like 1.5 lakh crores. So this is the something that has been the new thing towards this Atmanirbhar Bharat. The government of India is really pushing towards. For this national conference, I would like to thank you, thank you and welcome all of you in this presentation. Respected Chairperson Dr. Hayot Menkar, Co-Chairperson Dr. Ram Singh, Rapporteur Dr. Deepak Nath, and Dr. Lalrim Sangpui, Dr. Firoz Hussain, and Dr. Shastri, and all the organizers. Thank you for giving this opportunity to share some of my views. So basically what we will do that I will be trying to relate this self-reliant agriculture, what we really want to mean, and that what it impedes, that towards achieving this goal, what it impedes, and particularly I'll be focusing on the smallholder perspectives. And why will be smallholder perspective, that also gradually I'll be unfolding through this presentation. So without giving much introduction, I'm going into the topic that is the self-reliance and profitability challenges of agriculture in India, the smallholder perspectives. So already I have given that it has been nearly 1.5 lakh crores money is going to be pumped into the agriculture sector, and that includes not only in the technology, production sectors, but also marketing, infrastructure, and the policy perspective. So that is, it has incorporated everything. So let us see that how the agriculture is faring in the recent past. The agriculture sector, if you see that more or less it is contributing around 17 to 18% nearly plus minus some 0.5 percentage contribution to the national economy. And the OD is that the agriculture sector, if you compare with the other sector like industry, service sector, the agriculture sector, the instability of this contribution, that's it's compared to the other sectors, the instability of this contribution is higher. That's why sometimes it is becoming positive 6.8%, 5.9%, and sometimes it is also negative like 2014 15, and 2019-20 it has increased. And I'm very hopeful that this year also, this 2021, the agriculture sector will have large contribution, because other sectors, they have relatively less contribution due to this ongoing pandemic situation. And probably this is the agriculture sector, and that has great contribution to the national economy. Not only it has given a lot of confidence to the government to take a lot of many big steps as far as the country as a concern. So what we mean to say that self-reliance agriculture is essential for other sector too. It is not only important for the agriculture, but it's a great contribution to other sectors. But we have to be very careful, because the agriculture sector, it is being done mainly by the smallholder farmers. So if you look into the situation, that demand and supply projections of major commodities or the crops in India, this is the estimation has been given by this NITI Aayog very recently. And if you see that in the future demand and supply situation during 21, 22, 28, 29, and 32, 33. So in case of rice and wheat, we are most probably, if something not goes very wrong, then we'll be comfortable with meeting the demand situation with the supply situation. All this green part, those are, we will be comfortable as per this estimation, and this other color that shows that we have to be more careful and we need more some concerted efforts. Like coarse cereals, that's why the Honorable Prime Minister also has given some special focus on this to increase the production of the coarse cereals. We have to be more thrust on that. Pulses production, we have to be more thrust. That's why if we talk about the self-reliant at the national level, probably these are the crops we have to be producing more. Then oilseeds crops, we have to produce more. Then vegetables, milk products, fruits, we are in quite comfortable position. And sugar crops also, we need to produce more. So wherever we have the surplus production, we can think for the export to other countries, and wherever we have deficiencies. So overall, if you see the situation, the agricultural situation is, we can say that we are in the right direction, and in terms of production, in terms of the production at the national level. So basically, who are producing? What are their characteristics? The key farm characteristics in India, if you see that total workers, it is around 482 million. Then it's 90 million agricultural households. So agricultural workers, basically the two parts, that cultivators and laborers, it's contributing around 263 million. Then we have land use net sown area 140 million hectare, gross cropped area 197. The cropping intensity is 141%. The average holding is 1.08 hectare. So the small and marginal farmers, this is the smallholder farmers, they are basically accounting around 86% of the total holding. and accounting for the 47, they are operating 47% of the area. So this is really that we have to make them self-reliant. If unless and until we can make them self-reliant, the small farmers, then we cannot achieve our goal fully. So with the strategies of more production, we need post-production management, that is the agricultural marketing, to make the smallholder farmers remunerative and towards the self-reliance. So who is currently feeding India and who will feed in future also? So if you see that around the 32 out of the 37 states, they are the land holding are belonging to this small and marginal holders. That is the smallholders farmers. Only the few states, they have the large areas. So these small and marginal farmers, they are constituting around 40% of the marketable surplus. So this 40% of the marketable surplus, they are actually producing for the non-growers. And that's why this we need more focus, or we have to give trust to the small and marginal farmers, that the smallholder farmers in the coming days also. So what really impedes the smallholder farmers' self-reliance? I'm coming into the relating with the topic of this national seminar. What really, if you really want to achieve something, then we should analyze that what so far has been not done, that we were not able to achieve that goal. So that's why when we look back, that what is impeding the smallholder self-reliance, achieving the self-reliance, the first thing is that farm size and income. Is the farm size is giving really the economies of scale, they're able to capitalize. Then sustainable use of natural resources. This is very critical. The land and water resources are the most critical resources. So we have many technologies, many ways that has been done through the ICR and the State Agriculture University, Central Agriculture University. A lot of suggestions are there, but those practices are profitable, so that they can take it sustainably. Then high input cost, that is the input cost is increasing the farmer's distress. Then risk and uncertainty, it can be in different types, like production, market, policy, and climate. Then capital inadequacy, whether the financial inclusion, whether the farmers, many of the farmers are being excluded from the current different financial programs. Then whether the farm business they're doing, whether it is viable or not, in terms of capital borrowing, whether there is some kind of risk from the borrower side as well as the lending side. Then access of technology adoptions, and then turning research output. We have a lot of research output, then how to turn this to the societal benefits, that also needs critical understanding. Then disposable of marketable surplus. Then whatever the surplus is produced, whether there is linkage, market linkages are available. Then aggregation of farmers, whether the grassroots institutions like the FPOs, whether they can really fulfill this aggregation of the farmers and linking to the markets. So these are the recent innovations we can say. Then we cannot see the agriculture only at the macro level or the policy level without looking into the grassroots. So we have to see from their lenses also. So what government is doing, government has launched many programs, many policies for addressing all these impeding situations, all these impediments, and they're implementing different schemes. So I'll be going through this, some of this, what has been the government trust and what has been the grassroots level situation. So I'll try to match with this feedback from the grassroots. Then what has been the impact at grassroots, and what are the different kind of national messages we can draw from those case studies. So basically these things I'll be incorporating in this presentation. So what is the farm size and farm income? The first thing that we can see that is there any direct correlation between the farm size and farm income? If you see that farm size and the farm income, average farm income, I have taken in during the NABARD 2016-17, as well as the NSO estimates across the different states. So if you see that this roughly we analyze that there is a weak correlation. There is a weak correlation between the farm size and farm income. What does it mean? That means except this Punjab and Haryana, they have higher farm size, higher income, farm income. But other than, see this Kerala, it has lowest average area, but the highest income. This means the large average farm income. Like Nagaland, it has the large area and then low income. And then in case of Rajasthan, large area, but average area, but the low income. So there is no direct correlation between the farm size and farm income. Rather, it is around means 0.34 correlation is like that. That means that it doesn't matter that whether it is I mean small size or the bigger size of farmers. Obviously, the bigger size, they have the advantages, but small size can also make good contributions, provided if they have the right kind of crop mix, cropping intensity is there, and they can go for the high value crops. So with this agricultural production, there is a need of this marketing system, also effective marketing system, to increase the farmers' income and for the smallholder farmers. So what do you understand by this Atmanirbhar Bharat? That means that it is the building confidence, for building confidence of for the farmers, that so that they can grow crops confidently, they can sell crop confidently, and they can earn decent income, so that they don't need to depend on other sources. So that is we call the self-reliant. So in case of natural resource management, if we look into the northeastern perspective, so these are the beautiful landscape of the Northeast, and we really don't want to have that natural resources to be utilized like this way, like this June cultivations, but it is their way of life. So actually what we want this should be used in profitable business with the sustainable use, like this terrace cultivation, then good cultivations, and then with the inclusion of the high value crops. So that unless and until we can transform this landscape into some agricultural use that will be sustainable use as well as the profitable, then only we can think of giving impetus. So what actually the small farmers, their interaction with the different resources and they have, like the first thing is that people, it is the people, they have to manage everything. We cannot ignore the population base. And then land, they have the land resources, they have home, they have homestead lands, and they have certain crops like cash crop like potato. Then paddy they can take in the Kharif season mainly, and then Rabi season paddy and wheat. Then mixed crop like cash crop like vegetables and other crops. Then they have pond, water, fish, and some kind of animal components also. So this is the, as household levels, the farmers, smallholder farmers, they're more or less they're having, and then we have to focus on that how these resources are interacting to each other, and how with the utilization of these available resources, their income can be increased and self-reliant. Let us see some of the good agricultural practices of natural resource management. There are a number of good agricultural practices like conservation tillage or reduced tillage or no tillage. So in the first, if you see that there was lecture in the Dr. M.L. Jatt also, the direct seeded rice in Punjab. So that has been under this situation, the direct seeded rice has been given a lot of emphasis, and it is the farmers are all adopting with kind of incentive also. So there are good agricultural practices available like crop rotation, integrated farming system, residue retention, then rainwater harvesting, like Jalkund in northeastern states, then well recharging, then integrated nutrient management. It can be organic, inorganic mixture, then in situ moisture conservation, then alternate land use system like Sylvia agri-horticultural system, then organic farming, and then agro-biodiversity. So these are some of the good practices in the natural resource management that we really want to promote. So in terms of northeastern perspective, you see that organic farming, that can be one of the good ways for cultivating the farmers in sustainable way, as well as giving some kind incentive to the farmers. So if you see that the organic agriculture in India, that farm production, it is around 26 lakh tons. Then from the wild harvest is 0.38 lakh ton. The total production in 2018-19, it was 26.45 tons. It will be lakh ton. Yeah, it will be lakh tons, I think. This one. Then total exports, it is 6.14 lakh tons. Yeah, it will be lakh tons. Then the total value of the exports, it is around 5151 crores. So what is happening in the recently, we have seen that around 28% of this the organic production, what is happening in India, that is being exported, and 72% is consumed means within this country. That means it is the increasing trend in domestic market also. The consumers are demanding for this organic commodities. So it is a good opportunity for this northeastern farmers. But the problem is that whether the northeastern states farmers, they can really take the advantages. If you see these slides, that organic production by states, so the advantages is being realized by some other states like Maharashtra. Already they are well developed in terms of agriculture, and they're taking advantage of this organic production also. then Madhya Pradesh, and then Karnataka, Jammu and Kashmir, Uttar Pradesh. So these are the states, the majority of the organic productions are coming from these states. And these are the crops, sugar crops, oilseeds crops, fiber crops, cereal and millets. So these are the crops actually the consumers, they're demanding for to be produced in the organically. So what is happening that despite having the much potentials, despite having the much which we can say that by default organic, but the advantages is being taken by some other states. That means there is something we have to do more. It is not that only having the potentials that will capitalize what we can. So whether there is a supply demand mismatch, that we need to analyze. Then the drivers of change or the motivation factors for going for the organic commodities are different across different states. For example, Maharashtra, it is the market demand, and that's why the farmers are switching. But in case of northeastern states, it is their way of farming, and that's why the farmers, they're doing it is sometime it is more or less by the compulsion. So unless and until we have the right kind of supply chain, so we cannot give much impetus. And so that's why we need more investment, private investment into that sector. So in the case study, we have seen that in the northeastern states, that some of the constants for promoting this organic cultivations, it was like availability of the adequate amount of inputs at the farm level. That was the biggest constant. Then lack of supply chain management input as well as the output delivery. It was the second constant. And then high input cost, high cost of organic certification. That was also a big constant for promoting. So we have to, and there were many other constants like branding, product positioning. So what we need to do, that we need to create kind of supply chain management that I'll come with later, that what kind of model we can think of for giving the right kind of incentive. So this is another area that reducing the farmers' distress. The government, government has given they have launched many of the programs to reduce the farmers' distress. The very recent, it is from 2018. It is the PM Kisan, very ambitious program that if we cannot do directly, if we can do directly supporting to the farmers. So let us give the farmers, when they are in the distress, let us give the farmers directly cash to their account. So it is a big program, and like PM Kisan, target is with the 75,000 crores budget, 125 million target. Along with that, different states, they have also taken their direct benefit transfer scheme like Raitu Bandhu in Telangana, YSR Raitu Bharosa in Andhra Pradesh, Kalia in Orissa, Krishak Bandhu in West Bengal. So these are some of the schemes that it's going into the farmers. So what actually happening with this kind of this direct transfer? So we did case studies on that aspect, that how this being utilized, how this direct cash is being utilized. So we realized that yes, this direct cash benefit is really giving a good benefit to the farmers. They are able to continue their cultivate even under this crisis situations. That on an average, because small and marginal farmers, their average expenditure is also less. So on an average, around 10 to 20% of their total this production, total expenditure on this agriculture. So around 40% of the farmers, they are covering with these benefits, and 24%, around 5 to 10%, the expenditure is covering, and they are also utilizing this money very wisely and for this right purpose, that's agriculture purpose. Around 66% of the farmers, they have used this money for the seed, fertilizer, pesticide, tillage payment, and labor payment. And some other farmers, they have given on this like rent payment of agricultural machineries inputs, loan repayment, and some they have not yet decided to use, because some of the fund they have come late when the season has already gone over. What we realized that based on this case study, that yes, the farmers, this direct cash benefits to the farmers, it's really giving more confidence to the farmers, and it is helping the farmers to continue their agricultural operations. This is another aspect that the agricultural risk. So there also we studied that agricultural risk, how it is impacting to the small and marginal farmers. From this coastal West Bengal perspective, we have analyzed detail about this, that what are the different sources of the risk, like salinity, acid sulfate soil, then pest and disease damage, waterlogged situation, flash rain, then long dry spell, market price, government policy like demonetization, lockdown situation. So these are the different ways, the situation that really happening, the increasing the agricultural risk to the farmers. And many of, very often this agricultural risk, the impact of this agricultural risk are realized only at the micro level, but not realized at the macro level, because in these are the very location specific, and the farm level they are impacting. At the farm level, their impact is so much that farmers, their means production loss, and they can go up to 20-25% loss of the production, and sometimes even the 100% of the loss of the production. So means whatever the policy is, we are having at the larger perspective. So we have to see that whether these benefits are going into the farm level, and the farmers are really utilizing these benefits so that they can go for the crops with their agricultural risk is reduced. So like, for example, this government policy, demonetization policy. So during that time, the paddy prices fall and payment was delayed. And like the flash rain, and this is also happening nowadays due to the increasing the aberration of the weather aberration. So we talk about the climate change, but it is the weather aberration rather than the climate change that is affecting the small farmers income level. Because in the sometime during the just before the harvesting season, if the flash rain is coming, then almost 100%, up to 100% of the crop losses are happening. So that's we have to think that how we can reduce this kind of agricultural risk. So what is happening that we have also tried to quantify that per hectare basis, that the farmers are actually losing around 4,000 rupees or up to the 35,000, 36,000 rupees per hectare basis due to out of these different agricultural risks. And also the sources and access institutional credit. That's why the farmers are reluctant to go for the institutional credit also, because of this high coefficient of variation in the agricultural production system. But despite having this risk, the farmers are still depending on this agriculture, and 43% they are actually depending on that agriculture as the primary sources. And possibly we have to go for the higher cropping system intensification that can give the better income to the farmers, and we can, wherever possible, we can go through higher cropping intensification, integrated farming system, and that will give right kind of impetus. And then what is the impact of this agricultural risk on net return? That also we have means resource optimization through this linear programming. We realized that under the prevailing risk, the amount of net return they are earning and the optimum allocation, if the all risks are addressed and farmers do not have this kind of risk, then how much it can be, income can be increased. That is around 38% of with the same level of resource use, the farmers can increase their income up to 38%. So that's a huge impact. That means because of this prevailing risk, the perception of this risk, the farmers are pulling themselves back to take that kind of resource use. So that if we can address that agricultural risk, so the farmers can be able to, without increasing the natural resource base, with the utilization of the existing natural resource base, then the farmers can really increase their income. Then we'll come to this agricultural marketing scenario. So we know that agricultural market earlier, it was more or less, it was the government-led market interventions like procurement for the public procurement. The main goal was to attain the food self-sufficiency, and different policy instruments was like regulation, input subsidies, minimum support price, food subsidies for the PDS system. And recently we saw that there is a lot of changes in the agricultural marketing. Reforms are coming, like towards liberalization and opening up of markets, so like direct marketing, contract farming, then private wholesale market, foreign direct investment, e-NAM, organized retailing of different farm, then corporates, cooperatives, FPOs and FPCs. So what have been the major reforms? If you see that during 1950s, there was Agricultural Produce and Market Committee Act. It was long back, just after independence it was formed. Then the purpose was fair price to the farmers, reliable information, trust in stakeholders, reduce risk and uncertainties. But what it happened that it created kind of monopoly to the APMC market here. And after the long years, then there was a model agricultural APMC Act like in 2003. So it was removal of multiple licensing, stock limits, movement restrictions, but adoption was not fully across the different states. So what happens that agriculture is a state subject. This is another issue, that since the agriculture is a state subject, whatever central government proposes or want to propagate, if the state government are not really willing to do so, the different states have different kind of means adoption behavior, or they have their own interests. So across the states, we can never see that all these policies are being implemented across the states equally. Like this is another initiative, National Agriculture Market in 2016. This was created to give the unified national market for free from barrier, FDI and food products. Then there was a kind of infrastructure impediments like road connectivity, storage availability, capacity to handle large volume. So these have to address. Then Model Agriculture Produce and Livestock Marketing Promotion and Facilitation Act 2017. It was basically to replace this 2003 Act. And this also said this first time the setting up the private wholesale and farmer consumer market years was allowed. And very recently, it was the Farmer Producer Trade and Commerce Promotion. During the 2020, ordinances have been passed. So the basic objective was to give this one nation, one market, and selling produce outside APMC here. So if you see that the recent trend is that the government is really trying to push that the agricultural marketing, different kind of agricultural marketing through reforms. They are trying to give a lot of space for the farmers so that they can realize the right kind of producer prices. So this is what we know, that threshold ordinances of the 2020. Only the last month it has been given these ordinances, like the Essential Commodities Act. The three ordinances together. The Essential Commodities Ordinances, that is removal of agri commodities unless emergencies. So there is a kind of provision have been given, like earlier the stock was not permitted, like that restriction have been removed. The Farmer Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Ordinance, that is free trade inter and intrastate. So there will be no barrier of the trading in the inter and intrastates. And possibly this was in the inaugural session, our Honorable Minister, he was also referring to this, that anyone, this is the opening of the door for all the states, for the traders, that they can buy from any states, from anywhere. Then farmers, then agreement price assurance and farm service ordinances. This will give the legal framework for the contract farming. So this kind of contract farming can give boost to the promotion of the organic farming. So what are the expectations? Different expectation, like one India, one market, removal of APMC monopoly, better price discovery, free trade, competition, and multiple buyers, and the farmers' income. Ultimate goal is to increase the farmers' income. So we have to see that how the different states are adopting this kind of policy reforms. So what is happening currently, the smallholder farmers, if you look into very critically into the agricultural marketing scenario, the small scale productions, they are producing with low to reasonable production efficiency, but they are very poor in the marketing efficiency due to the low marketable surplus. So ultimately, they're running into the vicious cycle kind of thing. Larger number of small producers producing low marketable surplus, resulting low bargaining power and low profit. And then these commodities are passing through large number of traders or the middleman, and with subjected to a high degree of post-harvest losses, because they're increasing, basically what they're doing, they're adding to the cost into the marketing channel without adding any value. We do not have any problem with the increasing the length of the marketing channel, if so long there will be addition of the value in each cases. But in case of only if the marketing channel is increased without adding any value, then that will be the transaction cost will be more. So that is currently happening for the smallholder farmers. Then beside this traditional marketing system, there is also large scale enter into the organized retailer coming. We have to see how it is impacting the smallholder farmers. Then we need to increase the more rural connect. So overall, what we have to transform the agriculture towards the agribusiness form. So how can we transform this from agriculture to agribusiness? We need kind of institutions that will look into, or kind of the supply chains that will think that information sharing as compared to the traditional, there in case of value chain, there will be extensive information sharing. The primary focus, it will be value and quality instead of cost and prices. Then orientation, it will be differentiated in product. Like the organic commodities, need to be positioned to the niche market. So the market segmentation is there. So we have to position our organic commodities to the right consumer. So there is a differentiated product for the differentiated segmented market consumers. Then power relationship, it is the demand pool. So we are producing that commodity because it is demanded. We are not supplying, we are not pushing the supply. While after producing, we are looking for the market. Instead, we have to produce what the market demands. Then organizational structure, it is interdependent in case of value chain. So in the supply chain, inter-supply chain, all the actors, their interests are interwoven to each other. So if one interest is broken, then the supply chain will be broken. So it will not be independent, rather interdependent. And then philosophy, it will be the chain optimization. Everyone profit will be optimized, interest will be taken care. So do you have really kind of model for this kind of agri-business model? Yes, we have. And through the institutional innovations, we can do. And some of the very recent intervention, agri-entrepreneurship like DHAT, Ninja Card, Sahaj Aharam, these are the examples. And see, we are talking about the institutional innovations like the FPOs, or the this farmers producer organization. So the expectation is that FPO will be, it is not the expectation, there are different models. They're working like Sahaj Aharam, they're working with this kind of different service providers from the farm to the consumers. They're giving financial inclusion, business planning, extension services, market linkage, value addition, and they're gone beyond to the, gone up to the this branding level also. So they're selling through their own outlet different organic commodities. So the smallholder farmers, and this really we need to, for making it larger perspective, we need to linked with this national agricultural market, that is the ENAM. Similarly, we have the example of the DHAT and the Ninja Cart also. They are also working with many farmers, like over 2 lakhs farmers, 442 DHAT centers, 150 input suppliers, and 250 corporate buyers. Ninja Cart, this is also agri entrepreneurship. What they're trying to do, they are trying to, from the farm to the consumers, they are trying to make the entire supply chain and adding value into this supply chain, so that the interest of the farmers or the consumers will be taken care. Now the government initiative has been taken, that is the ENAM. There's a lot of expectation is there. This ENAM, it has spread across the different states. So piloting from 21 mandis in 8 states on April 2016, we see that during the last month, that is during the May month, so it has been connected to the 1,000 mandis and 20 states and 2 union territories. So FPOs have been gradually linking with this ENAM, and then value of transaction has reached beyond 1 lakh crores, and then the online payment facilities are there, and then it is trading currently 150 commodities, and there is the online trading system. It's trying to give the kind of this flavor of the national this one nation, one market, and the farmers directly they cannot take the benefits, but through this FPO, the farmers producer organization, they can take the benefit of this kind of this national agriculture market. So we also studied that what is the FPOs happening, how it is working in the grassroots level situation. We did studies in the West Bengal perspective. Some of the NGOs, some of the FPOs, they're working in the grassroots level. So what we realized that average crop production and marketable surplus, that has increased the average production and the marketable surplus when the farmers are linked with the farmers producer companies, especially for the vegetable and fruits crops. That's the high value crops. When they are linked with the FPC as compared to the non-FPC, their volume is increasing like as compared to the non-FPC. For the Rabi and Kharif paddy, for the paddy crops, there is not much change with the inclusion, whether they are included or in the FPC or non-FPC. But the real impact is coming that vegetable and fruit crops. So if they're linking, and possibly this is one of the good things that FPCs are realizing the benefits at the grassroots level. So what additional benefits they are giving, that it is reducing the marketing cost of the farmers producers companies, those who are members, though it is in the per quintal basis, it is very small amount, but if you see the large volume of handling, then it is a good amount for the farmers. So it is reducing, not only giving the opportunities for the high value crops, but also reducing the this marketing cost. So what are the advantage they are having? So the biggest advantage we are expected to be that it was the market linkage, but current situation it is happening that if that it is, instead of market linkages, basically the receiving loan quickly. So it has given the financial inclusion to a lot of member farmers, and that's the biggest advantage. Then buying the fertilizer and pesticides in a bulk quantity. So it has linked, rather than linking with the output market, linking with the input market, that's the backward linkage. It has established more strengthened backward linkages rather than output linkages. So in the coming times, so we have to see that how best these FPOs can take advantage of linking with the forward linkages also, as like it has given it has established the linkages with the back end, like fertilizer and pesticides companies, input companies, and also many of the farmers, they are making kind of innovative approaches also. They are taking and through these FPOs. So what are the different challenges of this functioning? That one challenge is that it has established good market linkages successfully developed with the like Sufal Bangla and other organized retailers. However, often the farmers, producers, companies, farmers have to depend on the open market because they are producing that quantity, entire volume is not able to handle by the FPC. So this is one problem. Then FPC is successfully connected with small and marginal farmers with banks and other organizations. As a result, they are active in regular transaction of money. So this is another advantages. Then common challenge of FPC was time involvement of organized producers. So there, it's heavily depending on the activeness of the CEO or the few members, board members. So it is depending, the successfulness of the FPOs is depending on that. And another issue is that that FPO farmer, they need kind of good business plan, because now currently they do not have that kind of professional attachment with them. So the farmers, we cannot expect the farmers, the business development plan will come from the farmers group itself. So we need kind of the professional help for the FPOs. And because the NABARD and other financial agencies, they are also ready to give the large financing to these FPOs, well-functioning FPOs. But to develop this kind of business model, we need kind of professional help. So if we can give that kind of support, technical support and the professional help, these FPOs can be grown, and FPOs can give a lot of advantages to the smallholder farmers. And finally, it is the corporate entry into the business. So you see that the organized retail market, India, huge organized retail market is $400 billion. So it is, but the organized retailer, their penetration is currently low, and possibly in the coming years, there is a huge investment, private investment are in pipeline. So that may change. And organic food segment, this is also one thing that it will reach up to 75,000 crore during the 2025. So mainly, but it will be driven by the organized retailer. So we need the kind of supply chains. Only then we can realize the benefits for the small and marginal farmers. That we have to ensure that private investment of the supply chains. Then direct purchase from the farmers. Yeah, new regulation has given the space for the direct purchase from the farmers. And then market consolidation versus land fragmentation. We know that markets are consolidated through the organized retailer, but land are fragmented through this over the time of the families are divided. So this kind of farmers producer organization that can give right kind of solution for them. And then we have to ensure that government has to be watchdog, and that how this benefits out of this agri-retailing that will be shared to the farmers, that also have to be ensured. And this is the corporate entry into the agricultural retail market, some of the implications that will have in the coming years, like the Reliance Geo Mart is coming, and then there is a lot of big investment are coming. So what is the way forward strategies? So it will be some of the suggestions we can give that corporate entry be allowed private investment. So it will give the more perfect competition and the better price discovery. Then ideal marketing model, it should include the technology, remunerative price and insurance. Then promotion, production in clusters, that also very much needed. We have to increase the marketable surplus. So in the cluster basis, it has to be done like one crop in one district focus. Then consolidation of farmers through these POs. The state government to enhance the market density in the rural connect. So we have to increase the market density also per population. Then it is to be linked with the ENAM. Then agri-marketing handles that should be allowed to be handled by the professionals. And possibly this is the biggest advantage, that the online trading, wherever possible, the markets, it should be online trading should be allowed, and it should be linked, so that there will be better market integration and better price discovery. So in the conclusion, I can say that let us make our farming viable and self-reliant through access to natural resources with efficiencies, that the critical resources land and water, by increasing the productivity. Then single window system of extension services, because farmers cannot run for different agencies for finding the solutions. So we need kind of institutional support, so that they can, like the farmers producer organization, so they can get all kind of support from the single window system extension services. Then reduce farm level risk and distress, like technology insurance, and also the direct benefit cash transfers, that has to be continued. Then enhance price realization through value chain and supply chain, sustainable food value chain. Then attract private investment. And finally, of course, the increase in off-farm income, because farm income is heavily dependent on the off-farm income also. So that also, the secondary agriculture, we need to promote. With this, I think I have finished. Thank you. Thank you for your patience hearing. Thank you all.
Thank you. Very nice presentation on self-reliance and proprietary challenges of agriculture in India, the smallholder perspective. Thank you, Dr. Subhashis Mandal. And you also talk about the smallholder self-reliance. You also talk about the farm size versus farm income. And you also talk about natural resource management in agriculture, and also talking about rain water harvesting, that is also essential. So I thought that this speech is directly correlated this Atmanirbhar Bharat. So thank you again, thank you. But due to shortage of time, I request Professor Ram Singh ji to hand over this session. Start from oral presentation, and you also maintain the time, sir, because already 30 minutes is left.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Haldhar. So first of all, I would like to thank to the organizer for giving me this opportunity to co-chair the session. Since chair is here, chairperson is very much online, so better if opening remarks will come from the chairperson, otherwise I will take care. Okay. Yeah, Dr. Menkar.
Yeah, please share the session, please.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
so I welcome in this session optimum management of farm resource for social and economic development. My rapporteur, Dr. Deepak Nath, Dr. Lalring Sankui, as well as all the paper presenter. I think all paper presenter are very much present on screen. So I will not take much time. I think in the ending, I will speak something on the theme, as well as covering what will be covered by the various presenter. So actually we have time around 2 hours. So I would like to know from the organizer at what time session should over?
Around 1:30.
1:30, okay. So we will keep around 30 minutes for the question and answer. Okay. So we have 1.5 hours, and I will request to the paper presenter to finish the presentation within the 6 to 8 minutes. So then we will be able to cover up the time. Okay. So first of all, I am inviting Dr. D. Jaganathan.
Yes, sir.
He will be presenting sustainable livelihood assessment of taro and paddy growers in Nayagarh district of Odisha. So please, Dr. Jagannath.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
Respected chairperson, co-chairman, eminent panelists, dear delegates, very good morning to all of you. Myself, Dr. D. Jagannathan, scientist in agricultural extension, working at ICAR CTCRA Thiruvananthapuram. The topic for discussion is sustainable livelihood assessment of taro and paddy growers in Nayagarh district of Odisha. As all of us know, livelihood, the means of making a living, the various activities and resources that allow people to live. By FAO 2007. Livelihood mainly comprises of different capabilities, assets, that means resources and activities which are required for a means of living. The sustainable livelihood framework is increasingly important nowadays for doing research and development initiatives, especially for poverty alleviation, rural development and rural resource management. By realizing all this importance, FAO has started livelihood support program for improving the livelihood security of the farmers. As all of us know, taro is originated from Indo-Burma region, and it is mainly grown in northeastern, eastern and southern states of India. And the tubers and leaves are mainly used for vegetable purpose, and it has a lot of health advantages. And it is mainly grown in adverse agroclimatic conditions also. That is why it is mainly important for food security as well as livelihood security of tribal farmers. That is why it is called as future crop or climate resilient crop also. By understanding the importance of taro, that is tropical tuber crop, the NARES, National Agriculture Research and Extension System, comprises of CTCRA, ICRIP, SAUs, KVKs, Department of Agriculture and Horticulture, have been working on taro research and development, and with the result that we have released so far 33 varieties of taro in India. Apart from that, we have technologies for production, protection and value addition. In the development front, we have schemes like RKVY, Tribal Subplan, Northeastern Hill Zone Plan, Scheduled Cost Subplan, TOT programs of NERES for supporting the taro growers in our country. On the other hand, we have a number of challenges like small and marginal holdings, low technology utilization, lack of value addition, issues of pest and diseases, weather aberrations like drought and flood, competition from other crops, lack of organizing, marketing, price fluctuation, etc. So with these challenges, we have a number of goals also, like doubling farmers' income and livelihood, food and nutritional security, and Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is self-reliant and make in India. So with this background, the study was taken up with the following objectives: to investigate the profile characteristics and farming practices of taro and paddy growers, to explore the key components of sustainable livelihood capitals of taro and paddy growers, and to formulate strategies to enhance taro and paddy growers' capabilities for sustainable livelihood security. Coming to the methodology, the study was conducted in Nayagarh district of Odisha, wherein we have selected 2 taluks, namely Ranpur and Kandapada taluks, purposefully. And from these 2 taluks, 5 villages were selected using simple random sampling. By using snowball sampling, 100 samples were selected for the study. Using PRA tools, interview schedule and focus group discussion, data were collected during October to December 2019. Coming to the quantification of different objectives and variables, and for this study we have used exposed factor and survey research design, and all the variables we have quantified using the descriptive statistics, economic analysis, and most importantly the DFID, that is Department for International Development Framework for Sustainable Livelihood Approach. And finally, for strategies, we have analyzed used the stakeholders mapping. So this is the framework. It is worldwide. It is being used for understanding the livelihood system of the farmers in various countries. Here we have 5 components: vulnerability context, livelihood assets, structures and process, strategies, and finally outcomes. Under the context, we have shocks, trends, seasonalities. Under the livelihood asset, that is resources, we have 5 resources: human resources, natural resources, financial resources, physical resources, and social resources, and which are influenced by the government structures and processes, and based on which we are formulating strategies for having the desirable outcome, like increasing income, increasing the well-being of the farmers, reducing the vulnerability, and increasing the food security, and so on. And this is how the sustainable livelihood index is calculated. So we are adding all the 5 capital indexes, summing up and taking the average. And for calculating the individual index, we are using the formula, that is actual score obtained by the individual divided by maximum obtainable score and multiplied by 100. And coming to the study, that is Niagara, it is coming under tropical climate, and the net zone area is around 1.27 lakh hectare, that is 27,000 hectare, and cropping intensity is more than the national average, that is 176%. And net irrigated area, this is major cause of concern for us, that is only 1/3 of the area is coming under the irrigation. And major crops grown in the districts are paddy, green gram, sugarcane, coconut, mango, vegetables, and timber crops, mainly taro. Coming to the major findings, if you see the table, from the table we can understand that the age of the farmers, both taro as well as paddy farmers, it is coming around 55. It is a major cause of concern for all of us, as youngsters are not coming forward for doing farming. And again, we see the land size also. Here again, they are belonging to small and marginal category. It is 0.7 acre for taro and 1.22 acre for the paddy cultivation. And they are significantly different between taro as well as paddy at 1% level. And coming to the economic analysis, that is cost and returns in taro and paddy cultivation, the yield level, taro farmer, they could realize 43 quintals from 1 acre area. Similarly, the paddy farmers, they could get 20 quintals from 1 acre area, and they are significantly different at 1% level. Cost of cultivation also, it is more for taro in comparison to paddy. As well as net profit, if we see, the taro farmers, they could get more profit when compared to the paddy farmers. And again, they are significantly different at 1% level. Coming to the different capitals, that is first human capital, it is comprising of education, training, labor availability, health facilities, experience, and knowledge and farming. Here, interestingly, we can see the training aspect. The paddy farmers, they could undergo a lot of trainings on paddy cultivation in comparison to taro growers. As paddy crop was an important crop, and the Department of Agriculture, they could organize a lot of training program under food security mission. Similarly, the knowledge level also, the paddy farmers were having more knowledge on farming aspects. So overall, if you see paddy farmers, they have higher human capital index when compared to taro growers. Coming to the physical capital, that is mainly comprising of the infrastructure facilities like transport, type of housing, drinking water facilities, electricity. Interestingly, we can see all the households were electrified 100%, and the transport facilities, paddy farmers were having better facilities when compared to taro growers.
Dr. Jagannath, only 1 minute more.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Social capital
Yeah,
also.
please.
The paddy growers, they could access agriculture information more when compared to taro growers. Similarly, financial capital also, again, we can see the taro farmers are better than the paddy growers with respect to financial capital. Natural capital with respect to land and ownership of land, crops grown, natural calamities. Again, here taro farmers are better than the paddy growers. Final table, here we can see the overall sustainable livelihood index. Again, the small difference is there between taro growers and paddy growers. Paddy growers is marginally, they have more value than the taro growers. And with respect to human capital, paddy growers are having more value. With respect to physical, it is taro growers. With respect to financial and natural capital, again, taro growers are having higher values compared to paddy growers. And again, here we are understanding the difference of different capitals between taro and paddy growers using the pentagon diagram. These are the major constraints explained by the taro cultivators in the Niagara district of Odisha: marketing facilities, price fluctuation, irrigation, etc. Similarly, paddy also, they have irrigation problems, weather aberrations, pests and diseases. So mainly the livelihood sources are agriculture, employment, the private sector and the small business. Vulnerability, as you know, the price fluctuation, crop failure, trends observed, price rise, climate change, labor shortage. And these are the major strategies we are formulating for improving the livelihood of the taro and paddy growers in the Niagara district of Odisha. With respect to human capital, we have to focus on training and village knowledge centers and farmers participate in research. Likewise, physical capital, we can improve the facilities for transport as well as.
Kindly conclude, Dr. Saab.
Yes.
Kindly conclude. Yeah.
So definitely we have documented the importance and the role of different capitals for analyzing sustainable livelihood security of taro and paddy growers. And this is very important framework for formulating strategies with respect to doubling farmers' income and to achieve the mission on self-reliant Make in India, that is Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. Thank you so much for patient listening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Jagannath.
Thank you, sir.
So question answer we will take at last.
Yes, sir.
Or the participant can put in the given option question answer at down in
Yes,
screen. Okay.
Okay.
So
Thank you, sir.
yeah. Thank you. So next speaker is Helanki Tingkan. He will be presenting on impact assessment of watershed development program in Ribhoi district, a case study of Umango WDP. Mr. Helanki, please. Is Helanki there?
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Can you
please.
hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So let me share my screen.
You share your screen, please.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes. Share your screen, please. Presentation. PPT. Yeah, it is not coming. Yes, Mr. Helanki. Hello, Helanki.
To other then coming next.
Hello. Yes.
Maybe not coming.
What happened?
Sir, it's coming now, sir?
No, your slides are not coming. Your voice is coming. Yeah.
What
You
about my
say-
screen, sir? It's coming now?
Your voice is coming, but your slides are not coming. You share your slides. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm doing that only. I share now, sir.
He can continue without his screen sharing if he can do it.
Yeah. Helanki. I think he left.
Okay.
There is
Another
connection
person
again.
can be taken up.
Okay. In the meantime, we can have the next Dr. P. Kishore. Is Dr. P. Kishore there? Dr. P. Kishore. Yeah. Dr. P. Kishore will be presenting water productivity and energy use linkages in wheat cultivation, a case of Uttar Pradesh. Dr. Kishore, please. You have only 6 minutes. Please adhere time. I am requesting to all the presenters. Yeah.
किशोर जी, आपका स्क्रीन के नीचे एक शेयर स्क्रीन करके बटन है, देखिए ग्रीन कलर का, पहले आप अपना पावर पॉइंट चालू कर लीजिए.
Yeah. No.
नहीं, आप अपना पहले पावर पॉइंट चालू करिए.
Dr. Kishore.
देख तो नहीं रहा हूँ, मैं सब एक्टिव होता हूँ डॉक्टर साहब. हाँ.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Okay, आप स्लाइड शो में जाके.
Now it is.
हाँ, right.
It
That's
is
good.
coming. Yeah, yeah. Start, please. Start. Dr. Kishore.
Dr. Kishore, unmute yourself. Yeah. Dr. Kishore. Unmute. Dr. Kishore, you unmute yourself.
Your voice is not coming.
किशोर साहब, नीचे एक जो माइक्रोफोन का सिंबल होगा ना, उसके ऊपर लाल डंडी होगी,
उसको हटाइए.
अब आएगा. अब बोलिए तो सही एक बार.
अभी now slide is not coming.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, let me
Alanki,
try to
are
share
you?
again, sir.
Sorry.
Actually, because of my network problems, sir. Let me try to share it again, sir.
You can speak without sharing also.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, please start. So,
Good morning.
so Dr. Kishore, we are taking Halanki first, okay? So you be ready. Dr. Kishore will be after this Halanki presentation. Yeah, please, Halanki, please.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the interruption, just because of my network issue.
Halanki, what happened?
Hello.
Yes.
Dr. Kishore, again share your PowerPoint.
Yes.
Dr. Kishore,
Hello, sir.
you share your PowerPoint first. Your voice is coming.
Okay. Now voice is coming, sir.
Your PowerPoint is coming. Then you start.
Now it is okay, sir.
Okay. You start.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So I welcome you all in my presentation titled Water Productivity and Energy Use Linkages in Wheat Cultivation, a case of Uttar Pradesh. So first of all, what the recent report published by the Niti Aayog with the title Composite Water Index, Composite Water Management Index, which was published last year. They have stated that India is suffering from worst water crisis in the history, and millions of life and livelihood is under the threat. And further, this report has stated that nearly 60 crore Indians are facing the high to extreme water stress situation in India. So this is the topic related with the water. So I will be covering this one with the water availability. So we are already in the water stress situation. That the less than the 1700 million per meter cubic per capita availability is there, and the total available fresh water is nearly the 1123 BCM, and yearly we are drafting nearly 249 BCM of groundwater, and most of them nearly 80% of 89% of them 89% of it is used in the agriculture sector. So if you see that the total fresh water, nearly 78% diverted to agriculture, but able to irrigate only the 48% of the crop area in the recent time, and three crops, namely paddy, wheat, sugarcane, which share the 39% of crop area, but consume nearly 80% of the irrigation water which we provided. So once we are seeing for the Uttar Pradesh, that the annual groundwater extraction is nearly 46 BCM, and in irrigation we are using nearly 89%. And stages of groundwater development is how much available and how much we are extracting it in nearly the 70%. But what is happening in the recent time that in the western Uttar Pradesh, they are more number of deep tube well, and they are more dependent on the submersible. At the groundwater is going deep very fast. So this is the Uttar Pradesh and the zone-wise economic zone by the eastern, central, western, and Bundelkhand zone we have classified. And based on this is the some of the characteristic like the nearly 80% of the area is irrigated, and mainly the groundwater irrigation is the dominant share, nearly 80 to 83%. Cropping intensity is highest in the western Uttar Pradesh, and average water table which in the last, if we see in the last 3 years, then it is the deep in the more deeper in the western Uttar Pradesh, 9.92 meter, and average rainfall also little lesser in the western Uttar Pradesh, and the wheat which we have selected, it is covering nearly the 50% of total irrigated area, and stage of groundwater development is also high in the western Uttar Pradesh, where we think that the highest productivity is there, and we are mostly dependent on the agriculture. And this is the cropping intensity over years. Like the Bundelkhand zone, it is started from nearly 120, now it is picking up, and already the western UP it was higher. And if you see the irrigation trend, then vertical surface irrigation has over the time it is declining, and that is also in the Bundelkhand zone. It is higher, and the ground more dependent groundwater in the western zone. And these are the water table. If you see that the water table down recent in the time, this western Uttar Pradesh have taken the lead. In this one, the more deeper water table, and the rainfall is more similar in the all the zone with the some variation. In the farmer scenario also, if you see the numbers of tube wells, like from the diesel pump set and electrical pump set, it is going over the period of time. And once it is there, like the tractor becomes this is based on the input survey which is level with the DACNet, like in the Ministry of Agriculture. Based on that report, it is there. And if you see the cropping pattern change, so we don't find it any major changes except in the Bundelkhand zone. Bundelkhand zone, they are more dependent. Now they are growing more of the system, maybe due to more variations in the rainfall and all. So while they are becoming more dependent on the after replacing it, the gram has reduced in this area. So if you see the well density, then the report is published by the minor irrigation census in the various report, like the 5th minor irrigation census, it is published in 2017, based on the 2014 number of tube wells and all the minor irrigation census, and earlier 2006 and the 2000. Based on that one, if you see it, then we find that the western Uttar Pradesh, the tube well density is going down, but here the number of tube wells of shallow and the medium it is going down, but not overall. Not overall, the deep tube wells number has increased over the period of time in the western Uttar Pradesh, and these are the mainly Uttar Pradesh how much electrified. So mostly in the western Uttar Pradesh, most of the tube wells are electrified, nearly the 75%, and in the lesser in the central zone. And if you see that overall, the nearly more than 80%, 82, 83%, it is nearly the still operated with the diesel fuels. So if you see the groundwater use, so we are Uttar Pradesh is extracting nearly the 45 to 48 BCM of groundwater each year, and that one also the stages of groundwater development. If you see it, then nearly it is going nearly to 70%, 71% overall in Uttar Pradesh in the 2017. And CRF irrigation, it is more than the 80% over the period of time. So what we did it, we just taken the plot level data from the what published by the DACnet, and based on the minor irrigation census report, we have calculated the discharge rate of each district from the wells, and then the average discharge rate to the horsepower also.
Kishore, 1 minute more, please.
Okay,
1 minute more, yeah.
Then the district wise, then we have to weigh the physical water productivity, and then the economical cost of extraction also we have calculated. These are the key parameters which we have calculated based on the DACnet report. And here we see that irrigation, it is nearly this percentage is almost it is similar in all the cases. So we if you see then in the western Pradesh, this is due to variation in the number of samples which is there. So this is the wheat productivity, water productivity which we have calculated. So either in the western zone, and then the economic also economic water productivity which we have calculated. And then if we see the similar trend, we find it in the thermal energy. And then this we have calculated the correlation association between all the parameters which were, and then we find it that how the water extraction and water productivity were related that highly they were negatively, and this was function of the high correlation. The similar result we found in all the zone which we have classified central, eastern, western, and all the zone. Then further what we did, then we have taken this variable and the log deviation estimate we have estimated. In this one, we find out the groundwater extraction and energy used.
Conclude, please.
Also,
conclude.
Okay, sir. So in recent time, it is going the diesel prices of the, then it will be affecting the total cost of cultivation. Then what the option we are left. So based on that one, the electrification of the fuel needed, but what we are following in Uttar Pradesh flat rate system may not be sustainable for the groundwater resources. So harvesting of solar energy for the pumping may be effective tool in area with the shallow water table, and efficient irrigation method like a sprinkler irrigation can be effective measure. And in the last, the increase in diesel prices affect the irrigation cost, and finally the total cost of cultivation, which need to be readjusted with the higher price of the output in the form, maybe in the form of market or the MSP. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kishore. Is Lanki ready?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please start.
Okay, sir. Let me touch my screen first, sir.
Yeah, please. Carry on.
Sir, is my screen visible, sir?
No, it is not coming. Yeah, it is coming now. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Start, please. You have only 6 minutes. Within 6 minutes, try to complete.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So, good morning to everyone. Sorry for the interruption, just because of my internet connection. So, today my presentation, I'm going to talk on the impact assessment of water development program in the Nirbhar district, and I have conducted a case study in one of the watershed development program, that is the watershed development program. So, most might think that watershed development is only related to water conservation and soil conservation, but in fact, water conservation is referred to the conservation, regenerations of all the resources, natural resources, and as well as the human resources. In India, the watershed projects are implemented with two twin objectives: soil and water conservation, enhancing the livelihood of the rural poor. And in order for the development of the rainfall area in the country, the government of India have a strategic investment through the watershed approach. And if you look into the agriculture area in India, we have certain problems like uneven topography, heavy runoff, and soil erosion, etc. So in order to counteract this
Oh.
Government of India under the Department of Land Resources. Pardon, sir? Sorry, sir.
Yeah, carry on.
Anything was there.
Carry on, please. Yeah.
Yes, sir. There are lot of things.
So to counteract these issues, the government of India under the Department of Land Resources Ministry of Development has sponsored integrated watershed development program in Meghalaya, and this scheme was implemented by the Soil and Water Conservation Department of Meghalaya. So for my studies, I have conducted with two objectives, that is to study the land use, cropping pattern, cropping intensity of the crops and the livestock populations, and also to analyze the impact of the watershed on the income, employment, and equity. So I have conducted study in a Nirbhar district under the Umling block, and I selected Umwa watershed development program, and which cover it cover two villages, that is Langpodan and one more villages. And under Langpodan, there are around 45 households, and from each household, one member from each household was selected as a beneficiaries for this project, for this program schemes. So I took a sample size of 45 beneficiaries. So to fulfill the above objective, I use simple analytical tools, that is test and Gini concentration ratios. So coming direct to the results. So regarding use patterns, we have observed that it was found that the total operated area was 29,000 hectares, out of which 27.64 hectares was owned by the beneficiary itself, and only 2.13% was leased under lease. So the average total operated area of the beneficiaries was 0.66 hectares. And in this crops that was grown by the beneficiaries. And under this, I have done comparison studies post intervention of the watershed program. And if you look into pineapples, there was a significant difference of 20.3% post intervention of the project. This is due to the fact that under this project, this watershed development project, they encourage the farmer to go for the pineapple cultivation. Not only that, they also provide financial support, as well as they provide the planting materials. That's why the cultivation of pineapple has increased post interventions. And if you look into the ginger, very interesting happened. There is a decline. There was a negative, significant difference in the ginger. The reason was over the years the ginger cultivation declined, and the farmers have stopped. Not exactly, but they reduce the ginger cultivation and they go for maize and French bean cultivations. And if you look into the cross-cropping area, there was no much significant difference post-interventions, as well as in the cropping intensity as well. So, and coming to livestock population, in my study area, I have found pig and poultry are the two main livestock that was possessed by beneficiaries. Under this scheme, this watershed scheme, they consider the livestock component as one of the main source of income for the farmers, and they support the farmers financially, as well as provide training to them, and also they support them in terms of constructions of the shed. So we have found that there was a positive difference, a significant difference in terms of the livestock population post intervention of the scheme. Coming to the objective number 2, and post intervention of the scheme, you see that from all the sources there is an increase in there is more in the income of the farmers. If you look into the average annual income, these are the average annual income, and if you look from the percentage difference, we have seen that there was the livestock has played a very key role in terms of income contribution toward the livestock, and there was about positive significant difference of 30.79% in terms of overall average annual income for post-industry. And I have done only the per family employment level. So it was seen there was 21.32% increase in the employment level, the post of the benefits post intervention of the scheme. This was due to the reason that post intervention there are a lot of activities.
1 minute more. 1 minute more, please. Please conclude.
Okay, sir. Like agriculture activities, horticulture, and afforestation and all. So it helped the farmer to increase the employment level. And Coming to the income distribution, for income distribution, I used the Gini concentration ratio as well as the Lorenz curve. So if we compare the Gini coefficient ratio between pre and post, we see that the Gini concentration ratio post intervention of the scheme was less compared to that of pre. This was this in the if you look in this table, you'll see that pre intervention, the average annual income of the farmers was the income level of the farmer was in between 70,000 to 90,000, and post you will see they are in 90,000 to 1 lakh, 1.1 lakh. So, sorry. And then if you look in the
You
current
please
well,
conclude.
like
Your time is over. You conclude, please. Yeah.
So from this presentation, I will conclude that water development, it only augmented the income of the farmers, but also it uplifts the social and economic status of the beneficiaries as well as the non-beneficiaries, and also it provides employment opportunities, especially to the young and unemployed youth. And my suggestion was that this type of project should be continued, and the farmers find many problems related to the storage facilities. There should be a construction of storage facilities should be done, and also sometimes there was delay in the release of the installment. So timely release of the installment, and most main thing is that to reduce the transportation costs, there should be transportation facilities.
Okay,
With all
thank
this,
you.
I'd like to conclude my presentation.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
For your...
So next presentation is by Pagadala Sai Priyanka. She will be presenting on community self-reliance through rural tourism in Meghalaya. Sai Priyanka.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Yes,
Start.
sir, is it visible, sir, my presentation?
Not yet. Yeah, now it is visible. Start, please. You have only 6 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
Good morning, everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank the co-organizers of the national conference for giving me this opportunity. I would like to present a paper on community self-reliance through rural tourism in Meghalaya. Self-reliance is the social and economic ability of the individuals or household or a community to meet the essential needs, be in terms of food, shelter, water, health, education, etc., in a sustainable manner and in a dignified way. So self-reliance can be seen as a sustainable solution for various problems of poverty, food security, etc., in which the local communities will be governing their own lives and economies. Hence, in a situation like this, self-reliance can be not just be seen as a mere necessity, but it is a matter of survival. It provides the individuals and communities with the capacities that are required to cope up with the crisis situations. Also, it offers for the community level small-scale solutions in which the local resources or be it human resources or physical resources which are untapped till now can be utilized in a most efficient manner. Since most of the underdeveloped nations are still dependent on the development from the external agencies or let's say government interventions. Hence, rural tourism can be one such self-reliance strategy to cope up with the crisis situation or to enhance the incomes of the farming communities in the rural households. To define rural tourism, it is any form of tourism that can showcase the rural life, art and culture at the rural locations, thereby benefiting the communities socially and also economically, which also thereby provides an interaction between the tourists that favors in the changing the technological outlook of the rural people and coming out of the social structure towards advancements. Rural tourism activity is an experience-oriented activity and comes in multifaceted way, in which not just the synthetic satisfaction, but the authentic pleasure helps in enriching the tourist satisfaction. Also, the intangible heritage of the rural areas, including the folklore, local cuisines, and customary practices which are indigenous to the communities, can be incorporated within the tourism activity. Also, the practitioners of unique arts and crafts that are having slow death due to rapid urbanization can be saved and also can be strengthened. Why this rural tourism activity is can be justified, like with the income downtowns from the farming, from the unstable incomes from the farming, just agriculture cannot be sufficient to overcome the income stability of the farmers. Hence, countryside hospitality in terms of rural tourism can serve as an agribusiness opportunity, in which farmers and the rural people can realize more profits or benefits without much investment and with the same piece of land available with them. In this, the marketing products will be like accommodation services, catering services, and leisure area services. According to a report of Confederation of Indian Industry, it was observed that every 14th person from the Northeast region is directly dependent on handlooms and handicrafts as part of their livelihood, so that rural tourism can provide a means of livelihood and can strengthen their incomes. In the present scenario with the urban hustle bustle, the people from urban areas are facing the counter urbanization syndrome, in which they are very curious and interested to explore the rural areas as a piece of satisfaction, and also to explore the nature. This helps in favor changing the technological outlook of the peoples, and makes them more favoring towards adopting agricultural technologies. Hence, it finally helps in the rural development and also upliftment of the societies, and it helps in the economic integration with providing the livelihood security. Coming into the Meghalaya scenario, Meghalaya, the land known as abode of clouds, with highest rainfall receiving areas, like wettest place on the earth, Mausinrom and Chirapunji, lying in the state, has a tremendous scope for tourism, attracting tourists from the various parts of the world. Also, the various tribal people like Kasi, Jenshia, and Garo people living in the state have their unique rituals and beliefs that are closely associated with the Meghalayan tourism. And also, it was noted that the sector has contributed for about 10.28% to the state GDP in the financial year of 2014 and 15, creating large number of employments. Hence,
1 minute more. 1 minute more.
With Meghalayan Village Development Promotion Tourism Limited operational in state, 6 projects are operated by the primary cooperative societies with under indigenous tourism project. 3 villages like Sastraga, Maulinong, and Lalong have been selected. And with this community participation helps in strengthening the rural tourism activity, which can be seen as an ideology for tourism planning. Also, the community ownership and management helps in sustainable tourism. This sustainable tourism can be seen as a poverty reduction strategy in sustainable development goals, achieving sustainable development goals. For this, involvement of community level stakeholders forms necessary at all stages of development. Hence, to realize self-reliance, it also depends on various other factors. We have to integrate the rural tourism principles with that of the self-reliance process. So that emphasis should be given on the indigenous technology practitioners, and also which help directly results in the social accountability by all the practitioners. And government intervention with hardware and software components, like developing the infrastructure and construction, and also training provisions and market creation can be should be incorporated. Also, it was noted that from Assam, in Silakchi site, there has been 40% income increase from the 80 farm families that are involved in the rural tourism activity by the indigenous tourism project. Commonly found community stakeholders in rural tourism accounts like this, like there can be traditional village council, since there is no
Conclude,
village
please
council.
conclude. Conclude. You are taking more time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In order to cope up with the strategies, there can be capacity building activities with including the adoption of local strategy and also effective participatory planning and governance with various already established tourism practices like self-help groups can be created within the state and also kiosk-based perishable sales can be operated in the state with help of market-driven approaches also from the various famous tourism projects that are successful. And also farmers can be assisted with the financial sources just like the ATDC project has taken from the NABARD scheme, and also forward linkages like value addition can also be done. Considering this post-COVID period with the availability of vast forest land and nature, a forest walk with a price, let's say 10 rupees or 20 rupees can be made as an opportunity for the villagers to earn money, and also to provide a market market for rural tourism. It can be incorporated within the academic curriculum course as rural area trips mandatory, and with
Okay.
advertisements.
Okay, Priyanka. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Now I'm calling Dr. Pramod Kumar. Dr. Pramod Kumar will be presenting on application of artificial neural network for forecasting of onion price of Cuttack market of Odisha. Dr. Pramod, please.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
My topic is
you have only 6 minutes. Only 6 minutes,
sir.
Please. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay. Application of artificial neural network for forecasting of onion prices of Cuttack market of Odisha. So Odisha, we know, is one of the largest vegetable producers, and government has done a lot to connect the market by creating Krishak Bazars. It is also the state-owned Odisha Rural Development and Marketing Society has also brought in several groups to take the produce to the market. And but there are also infrastructural hazards in terms of cold storage, lack of cold storage, and non-functioning of cold storage, because of which a problem of price realization to the producers is there. And if you see onion as such, onion is an important crop, we all know. In last 2 years, there had been a problem as far as onion is concerned because of loss of crop, and as also the stored produce because of heavy rains in Maharashtra and Rajasthan. And therefore, the consumers had to cry because of the rise in prices, and government had to intervene in terms of import of onion, as also they restricted export of onion. So therefore, this crop is important, and also we are working in Qatar. We have adopted a village, and that is why we are working on this crop, and this crop was taken. So if we see the growth and instability, there has been a tremendous growth in area production and yield of the onion. Production rose by almost 11%. Partly, the export also earning from the export of product, and mainly to the neighboring countries we are exporting and the is being exported that's where we are area and production is concerned. Maharashtra, MP, Karnataka, these three states alone account for 61% of area and 61% of production. So Odisha is one of the is not producing much of onion, and it is a consumer center where the product is coming from other states to the states. So that is why Odisha, there is a need for studying the price forecasting. As far as the harvesting seasons are concerned, in the country there are 3 seasons for onion, and basically, but all of the harvesting season is concentrated in March, April. So most of the produce is coming during this season, whereas the other seasons it is less because these seasons are there for specific states, and the area is less. But it's mainly the produce is coming during this season. Therefore, we see, what we did was we took the data of 2016 to 20. The daily data was taken, it was not into weekly, and here we are presenting the monthly data, average data, and what we see is the price is the taking factor for the arrival of onion in the Cuttack market, because it is a consumption center, as I was saying. And therefore, whenever the price is high, generally February we are seeing the arrival is low. And during May, when the harvesting season is there in Odisha also, as also the other places, the price is low, as also the arrivals is low. But slowly and slowly it picks up. So at the end of the year, the prices are high, and as also the arrival. So so for the purpose of forecasting of price, there are various models. AR is one, moving average is another one, where the error term is the guiding factor for determining the price, what will be the price in the future. AR model, the past yield is the guiding factor for what will be the price in the past prices are the guiding factor for what will be the price in the future. Then ERIMA is the one which is the combination of the two, AR as well as MA, and this is one of the model which was used by us, and it is a very famous model for price forecasting. Another one is the artificial neural network, which is the other one which we used for the analysis. And ANN, how it works is I have illustrated. There is an input layer. That means we provide the input in terms of past prices, and what we get is the future prices in terms of output layer. And there are some hidden layers which guide as to what will be the output in the future. And we also use is called the hybrid model. And these three models we try to compare how the prices forecasted like. And as far as the model is basically constant. Other data is very well. Non-linear data fits very well. And we used also used the hybrid model, which was proposed by Chang, and the model estimates of ERIMA we got is both the variables were significant. One was significant.
Dr. Pramod, your time is over. Dr.
Okay.
Pramod, time is over. Please
so
conclude. Yeah.
Okay, accuracy test was done, and what we found was that the ANN model proved out to be the best fit model, providing at least the accuracy test we can see. And with the predicted the prices that the prices are increasing and the period is falling, which is realistic. And the other models they show that they did not see as the realistic. The model should be forecasting point for because this proved out the model. The accuracy was much better. The price of onion is expected to rise up during the period of September and later on. The forecast prices could be used by the farmers to decide about the resource allocation as to what how much of area they should allocate for onion, depending on the prices which will be there. And the government could also prepare, and the policymakers could take a decision when to intervene and procure and import and export. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Hello, sir. Hello. Hello, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Pramod. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Next presentation is Jimoni Gagoi.
Yes.
Bamboo,
Yes, sir.
a potential way for economic development in northeastern India. Please start. Only 6 minutes.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So, in this pandemic situation, everyone is trying to make success mission for Atmanirbhar Bharat, as told by our Honorable Prime Minister, sir. So different experts and scientists are talking about different methods, right from production of high value crops, integrated forest farming system, integrated nutrient management, organic production, value addition of different crops. But in between these methods, we are not including one of the important crop, that is bamboo. So here is my topic, bamboo, a potential way for economic development in northeastern region of India. So coming to the introduction part, bamboo is one of the fastest growing plant in the world with the ability to survive in a wide climatic conditions. And it is also important in livelihood of millions of people living in rural area, and is also considered as one of the most valuable NTFP, that is non-timber forest product. And value-added bamboo has high potential positive share in the environment as well as in the economy. And in the world market, China is the largest bamboo producer and exporter globally. And the major bamboo producing countries
Dr.
in the
Rajkumar,
Asian...
kindly mute your mic. Dr. Rajkumar, mute, yeah.
So the major bamboo producing countries in Asia are... Hello?
Yes, please. Yeah.
India and China contributing about 70% of the bamboo resources of Asia. So coming to the status of bamboo in India, we can see that India has 30% of the world's bamboo resources, and it has 125 indigenous and 11 bamboo belonging to 25 genera. And out of all the available resources in the country, 50% of these bamboo species occur in eastern India. And the total area under bamboo in India is 16 million hectares as per the report of Forest Survey of India during 2019. And it is producing around 277.587 million tons of bamboo cones. And the Madhya Pradesh is occupying the highest area under bamboo, at around 2 million hectares, followed by Maharashtra and Arunachal Pradesh. From the year 2017 to 2019, there is an increase in area under bamboo by 0.32 million hectares. So here we can see the 50% bamboo species and occur in eastern India. So let us see the state of bamboo in northern India. And northeastern region of India comprises of 8 states, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Sikkim, and Tripura, where Assam is the valley region and the other 7 states are hilly areas. Here the area and production of bamboo shows that the highest area and production is in the state of Arunachal Pradesh, followed by Assam. And the productivity of the bamboo crop is seen to be very high in the state of Nagaland as well as in the state of Meghalaya. The total area under northeast region for bamboo is 5,353.8 thousand hectares by producing a 1,08,156,000 tons of green equivalent weight of bamboo cones. So northeastern region is lacking behind in production of commercial bamboo products. They are mainly using bamboo as a traditional use, and these are the different traditional uses of bamboo in the region, and they are used to make buildings, dwelling huts, mats, fishing rods, furniture, bridges in the rural areas, and also the region uses young bamboo shoots as a vegetable, also prepare pickles. And the bamboo leaves are used as a fodder for cattle. They also use bamboo as a musical instrument, and also the japi, which also known as poor man's umbrella, is very famous in the state of Assam.
Jimani, you have only 1 minute.
So these are the bamboo products traded in global market. Total 12 bamboo products. The region have a high scope to in production of these products to export in the global market. So this is the status of export and import bamboo products from India. Here we can see both the export and import are increasing from the year 2000 to 2018, but the export is much less than the import value of the bamboo products. So the region has a very high potential to invest in this sector to produce more quantity of bamboo products, to reduce the import as well as to give more emphasis on export.
Conclude.
So for this, commercial cultivation is employment generation, including the engagement of unemployed, educated migrants and value addition of bamboo products. So the potential processing industries can be focused, and the government scheme is also giving very this one for national mission, giving very development in this sector by focusing on different value additions by processing treatment, and they are giving subsidy to the government agencies as well as private sector, and they are giving extra subsidy for the northeastern region of India by extra 10% for product development, 30% for promotion.
Okay, thank you, Jimoni. Hello, Jimoni. Jimoni, thank you very much. So next presentation is Dr. Ankita Trivedi on impact of in situ management of deficit irrigation alone or in combination with mulching on soil salinity and nutrient availability. So Dr. Trivedi, please. You have only 6 minutes. Please adhere time.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Sir, is it visible?
Please. Yeah, it is visible. Yeah. Start, please.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. I welcome you all to the conference on agricultural resource management for Atmanirbhar Bharat. The problem of paucity of water, poor quality irrigation water laden with salt have been creeping down in mass media, our minds, and gradually reflecting in our scientific approaches to deal with it. The intensifying agricultural and environmental associated with stubble burning is also very well known. And to address the issue of both paucity saline water management and stubble burning, a convergent approach was taken through the study entitled Impact of In situ Management of Deficit Irrigation Alone in Combination with Mulching on Soil Salinity and Nutrient Availability. Coming to the introduction part, soil salinization is an important driver of land degradation. Salinity related problems are particularly associated in arid and semi-arid places, and approximately 950 million hectares of soil-affected lands are present in those arid and semi-arid regions, which occupy 33% of potentially arable land, which is used around the world. And only 20% of world's cropland is irrigated, while it provides 40% of all food and fiber globally, which is huge in number. It reflects the importance of irrigation. But irrigation also comes with cost, as it also induces secondary salinization if it is associated with salt in it. So the global annual cost of salt-induced land degradation in irrigated areas has been estimated around US dollar of $27.3 billion by CGIAR. Coming to the process of secondary salinization development, we can see that when we irrigate crop with salt-laden water, it evaporates and plants also transpire water, leaving the salt behind on the soil surface, leading to accumulation of salt. So the study, this is an estimate which shows development of secondary salinization in world's irrigated area. We can see that in India also 17% of the area that has been irrigated is facing the problem of secondary salinization, and around the world 20% of irrigated area is facing the similar problem. Now with the advancement of canal irrigation, submersible, this problem is aggravating and can lead to severe form of land degradation. So the study area that was selected was NAN, which is Experimental Farm of CSSRI, Karnal, Haryana, and the climatic condition of this area is semi-arid, hottest month being May and June, and coolest being December, January, with an annual average rainfall of 578 millimeter. The crops were sorghum and wheat, and the fertilizer dose is as given below, and the treatment details were different levels of irrigation water, including salinity level of 8 decicement per meter with or without mulch, fallow and 100% good quality water were also included in these treatments. The methodology followed was saturation extract of soil was obtained following the procedures given by Rhodes, and other parameters were also determined using standard methodology. If we see the effect of mulch and deficit irrigation on soil pH and EC, we can see that salinity level were higher in the treatments which were treated with saline water. And similarly, in case of pH also, we see that the level of salinity caused increased level of pH in those treatments. This might be due to the accumulation of higher salt present in salt-laden irrigation water. Coming to the importance of, or may say, effect of mulch and deficit irrigation on soil nutrient availability, we can see, soil nutrient availability, we can see that cationic concentration in the treatments which were irrigated with saline water were higher. Similarly, anionic concentration were also higher in the treatments that were irrigated with saline water. But in this case, we can see that mulching had an impact on decreasing the amount of anionic concentration. Similarly, sodium adsorption ratio also showed the similar trend, that higher ratio was observed in the treatments that have been
Dr. Trivedi, you have 1 minute more. You have 1 minute more.
Okay, sir. And when we see the available nutrient content coming to nitrogen and organic carbon, it did not have significant effect. Whereas in case of available phosphorus and available K, fallow had higher amount because this might not have been used in nutrient by the crop during the uptake, because the yield was low because of the low amount of irrigation available in these plots. And we also saw that microbial activity in these regions, which were including dihydrogenase activities, fluorosin diacetate activity, alkaline phosphatase activity, and beta-glucosidase activity. The amount of carbon dioxide evolved were also measured, and it was seen that saline irrigated treatments initially showed lower level of irrigation when compared with best available water. So the conclusion can be drawn as deficit irrigation along with mulch can help to optimize agricultural practices in resource scarce condition. Mulching can help in increasing microbial activity, and resource conservation technology using deficit saline irrigation and mulching can be environmentally viable, economically feasible, and socially acceptable approach. However, long-term study is needed for validation of this approach to assess the probability of development of secondary salinization in future. And finally, I would like to conclude that soil deserves to stay healthy, for it has been and will be feeding us for generations to come, and each one of us is held responsible to keep it healthy through appropriate scientific interventions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Trivedi. Thank you very much. So next presentation is Dr. Shiva Kumar Parka. Is Dr. Parka here? Is Dr. Parka is not here? Okay. Then next is by Mosmi Priyadarshini on impact study of mission for integrated development of horticulture in Haryana. So Mosmi Priyadarshini, please. You have 5 minutes.
Sir, can you see my screen?
Yeah, screen or the PPT is coming. Okay, please start.
Respected dignitaries, good afternoon to you all. Today I am going to present impact study of Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture in Haryana. So, in India, the need for horticulture development was first time recognized during the fourth five-year plan. But during that time, there was a need to increase the food grain production. So, Government of India acknowledged the need for diversification towards horticulture sector in the mid 1980s. Today, India is the sixth largest producer of fruit. Over the past 2 decades, over the past contributing a lot to the overall economic growth. Department of Agriculture Cooperation and Farmers Welfare of Ministry of Agriculture is the nodal agency for overviewing horticulture development country. Realizing the importance of horticulture sector, Government of India has announced 2012 as the year of coming. This was launched 12 5-year plan for holistic development of horticulture by the Department of Agriculture Cooperation and Farmers Welfare. The total outlay for development comprises share of central and state government in the ratio 85:15. MIDH is also working closely with National Mission on Sustainable Agriculture towards development of micro irrigation for all horticultural crops and protected cultivation. Then coming to the horticulture scenario in Haryana, Haryana produced about 8,091.7 area of it has accounted for 2.6% of the total horticultural production in the country. The total fund allocated for MIDH in 2019-20 for Haryana is about 183.33 crores. The focused crop under this scheme include fruits like guava, kinnu, ber, amla, and okra. Horticulture sector has emerged as an important source of farmers' income in Haryana, and kinnu is one of the most important and focused fruit crop under this scheme. So, keeping in mind the importance of horticulture sector in Haryana, study was carried out to analyze the trends in area production and production of total horticultural crops, to calculate the economics of quinoa cultivation, and to evaluate the constraints faced by quinoa growers. Then, coming is based on primary and secondary data. The primary data was collected from 50 quinoa growers, which are also the MIDH beneficiaries from the district of Haryana. Sista district was selected because it is the highest area under quinoa cultivation in the state. Then using compound growth rate function and to calculate the economics of quinoa, various cost and returns are calculated and establish cost and straight line method, and the interest rate on operational cost was calculated at the rate of 12%. Then amortized fixed cost was calculated to see the economic feasibility of quinoa orchard, net present value, internal rate of return, benefit cost ratio, and payback period were calculated, and constraints were identified by using the Henry Franklin technique. Then coming to the results, the growth rate positive rate in was found for crops in with 0.08% area, 7.55% is also very high and positive, 11.69% per area, 7% for production. Then rupees major contributors to found construction of vacation and the cost yes, cost is found 25 rupees. Cost of plant protection, cost of pruning and cutting, and cost of intercultural plants. Total cost was calculated after considering the rental value of land, amortized fixed cost, operational cost, depreciation, and interest on working capital. So the total cost increasing from first to seventh year of orchard establishment, and in the seventh year, the total establishment cost was found to be 1,64,000 rupees per hectare. And the production start increasing from the quinoa orchard from the fourth year of orchard life. So even after considering the returns from intercrop, farmer has to bear a loss up to the fifth year of orchard life. And in seventh year, net return was positive, found to be positive and high, and it is 2,57,397 rupees per value
47,700 rupees. This is very high and important amount. And the interest calculated 26.24 percentage. The payback period was found to be 7 years and GCC was to be 1 year.
Mosmi, please conclude. Conclude, because your time is over. Please.
Availability of rejuvenation. From the conclusion, keeping the high profitability and constraints, it can be suggested to the government to focus on infrastructural facilities for post-harvest management in India. Ensuring on quality planting materials for fruit varieties to be made available to farmers to get higher prices for sale in the market. Arrangement for export of the produce should be made in such a way that it can be available for the destination of sale within a short period. If is given to infrastructure development, more research and development, technological upgradation, and better policy framework for horticulture sector. Strong for backward linkage.
Thank you, Mosmi. Now next is HN Kavita. Presentation on economic study of performance and effectiveness of PM Kisan scheme in Karnataka. Kavita, please. Yeah. Start, please. Yes, please.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah. You are audible. Yeah, please.
Good afternoon, all. This is Kavita HN from Division of Agricultural Economics, presenting the seminar on or presenting the economic study of performance and effectiveness of PM Kisan scheme in Karnataka. And since agriculture and its allied sectors still remain to be an important sector because of its continued role in employment, income, and most importantly in national food security, agriculture sector is being the important sector of our Indian economy. During recent years, due to increased cost of inputs, high level of indebtedness, dependence on non-institutional sources of credit, and all other problems are making the farm economy as unviable, and many farmers are leaving the farm business and going towards the cities for their livelihood purpose. So the government have launched many schemes or many policies like price support policies, income price support policies, loan waiver schemes, and input subsidies to help the farmers or to address the farmers' distress. And nowadays the government has taken new initiative, like the government is productive direct income support to ease the liquidity constraints of the farmers. And these cash transfer schemes are these cash transfer schemes are gaining importance, and these cash transfer schemes are easy to administer, less prone to leakage, and do not impact either of the banking system or corporate. In this regard, the Government of India started a nationwide Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana. Under this scheme, the government is assured to provide a farmer rupees 6,000 per year in 3 equal installments to ease the liquidity needs of the farmers and timely access to inputs to ensure proper crop health and appropriate yields. So along with this PM Kisan Yojana, there are many other income support schemes are going across the country, like Raitu Bandhu scheme of Telangana, Raitu Bharosa scheme of Andhra Pradesh, Kalia scheme, Krishak Bandhu scheme of West Bengal, and recently the Chhattisgarh government have launched Rajiv Gandhi Kisan Nyay scheme to help the farmers. And this it was decided. The graph shows that out of the total potential beneficiaries, what is the proportion of beneficiaries have been covered under the PM Kisan scheme so far, and it shows that at all India level, about 54.8% of the potential beneficiaries have been registered under the scheme and received the installment. And since few states and in some states like around less than 50% of the potential beneficiaries have not registered and received the installment under the scheme. This shows that there is a wide disparity between the states in the participation under the scheme. and the beneficiaries paid installment during different disbursement period shows that in the initial disbursement period, or less than 40% of the total beneficiaries have been registered under the scheme. And as the time progresses, there is a increase in the number of beneficiaries registering and receiving the installment under the scheme. This shows that there is a slow or there is a progress in the PM Kisan scheme over the disbursement period or over the course of time. And the expenditure of PM Kisan scheme different scenario was analyzed in our study, the different scenarios, like what happens if farmers are provided with rupees 6,000 per acre. Now the present scenario is rupees 6,000 per family. What happens if the PM Kisan scheme is extended if based on per acre, that is rupees 6,000 per acre per year? And the second scenario considered was according to Swaminathan report, that is rupees 15,000 per family. And the third scenario was considered as rupees 15,000 per acre per year. And this found that if the scheme is extended based on the different scenarios different scenarios, that there is an increase in the expenditure to be incurred by the government by more than 3 times if extended by at rupees 6,000 per acre, and by about about more than 4 times if extended at rupees 15,000 per family, and about more than 6 times if it is extended at the rate of rupees 15,000 per acre per family. And the share of the cash transfer shows that the annual cash transfer under PM Kisan accounts for about 7% of the income of the agricultural households at all India level. And the share of the cash transfer is highest in the states like Bihar, and it found to be highest in the poorer states like Bihar, Jharkhand, UP, etc. And it is very less in the states like Haryana and Punjab. And the share of cash to total income across the major states of various schemes was analyzed, and the result showed that the scheme, except Raitu Bandhu scheme of Telangana, all other schemes were promoting inequity across the land sizes, whereas the PM Kisan and other Raitu Bandhu scheme of Telangana, all other schemes promoting equity across the land sizes of the farmers. The awareness, beneficiary status, and utilization pattern of farmers was studied, and it shows that about 90%.
Kavita, you have 1 minute more, please. Yeah, conclude.
And it was found that about 90% of the farmers were aware of the scheme, and the farmers were using the installment amount for both agricultural and non-agricultural purpose, and the farmers have and there is an increase in the farmers have and this scheme has really helped the farmers to adapt the technology liquidity needs, and there is increase in the input cost and also income of the beneficiary farmers compared to non-beneficiary farmers. And the farmers and it was the study showed that the farmers were founding of the support should be increased, and the PM Kisan scheme should be continued along with the other ongoing existing schemes like input subsidies, other schemes for the betterment of the farmers. And and also this under the scheme the tenant farmers are not included, so that the tenant farmers should also be included under the scheme for availing the benefits. Thank you. Thank you, sir. It's done.
Thank you, Kavita. So next presentation is on application of smartphone agro-advisory services of M4 Agri NEI in climate smart natural resource management in agriculture by tribal farmer of Meghalaya, an empirical study with structural equation modeling by Dr. Rajkumar. Dr. Rajkumar, please. Dr. R.J. Singh, yeah, start. You have only 6 minutes. Dr. Rajkumar, what happened? Hello, Dr. Rajkumar. Dr. R.J. Singh.
Dr. R.J. Singh, your voice is not coming.
Dr. R.J. Singh. Dr. Rajkumar. Dr. Rajkumar. Dr. Rajkumar. Dr. R.J. Singh. Your voice is not coming. Hello, Dr. Rajkumar.
Sir, some problem is there maybe. Network.
I think. Dr. Rajkumar. Dr. R.J. Singh, are you getting me? Dr. R.J. Singh. I think. Yes, please. Yes, please. Dr. R.J. Singh. Hello. Yes, Dr. Rajkumar. Dr. R.J. Singh, are you getting me? Your voice is not coming. No, I'm not getting you. Yes, Dr. Raj. Voice is not coming. अनम्यूट कीजिए डॉक्टर राजकुमार. यस. No. Not coming.
Dr. Rajkumar, you remove your microphone and you take direct.
Yeah, now you try to speak. Yes, Dr. Arjay Singh.
You remove your pin, this microphone.
Yeah.
From laptop or your system. Not coming.
Not coming. Are you able to connect or not? So your voice is not coming. Neither your voice coming nor your slide we are looking.
Dr. Rajkumar Singh ji, you call to Firoz sir on mobile and then we start. You call to Firoz sir. You call. अरे हमारे पास तो सिस्टम है.
Hello. You start, sir. You share your PowerPoint first. Yeah. And then you start.
Now your voice is coming.
Okay.
Yeah. Your voice is coming, Dr. Arjay Singh.
Yes, sir.
So then you start now.
Is it coming, sir?
Yes. Yeah, it is visible. Yes. Please.
Okay.
So your time has been cut now. You try to finish within 5 minutes.
All right, sir.
Yeah. This is the penalty for you. Yeah, please.
Yeah. This presentation is with respect to the project M4 Agri-NEI, where an empirical study on structural equation modeling has been developed for application of smartphone advisory services with respect to climate smart natural resource management in agriculture by the tribal farmers of Meghalaya. Hello?
Yes, carry on.
Hello.
Yes, carry on.
Hello. You start, sir. No problem. You speak in mobile. Hello.
My second slide is with respect to the profile of M4 Agri-NEI at CPGS. Imphal. The objective of the project was to empower the farmers to provide information in right time through a mobile agro-advisory services. Implementing agencies were the college CPGS, Digital Media Corporation, New Delhi, and the project location was the Rivoi district of Rivoi district is started with Gentia Hills and West Khasi Hills. The collaborating institutes were ICR, RC Coordinator Season Atari, the KVK Department of Agriculture, DRD Financial Institution, KNTO, farmer associations, and self-help groups and tribal councils. Here the structures were of two levels. First, level number one were of from four domains: the plant ecology, horticulture, agriculture, economics, veterinary, and husbandry. And with respect to level number two, the domain experts are from the discipline of agriculture, extension, agronomy, plant ecology, genetics, and plant breeding. Social science in agricultural chemistry, agricultural economics, agricultural engineering, and agricultural statistics. I want to skip the brief profile of the state since the time limitation is there. I want to come directly to the selected districts where the research has been conducted so far. The star mark has particularly identified the four districts, that is West Khasi Hills, then Rivoi, West Gentia Hills, and East Khasi Hills. Now this is diagrammatic view of about the agroclimatic zones of Meghalaya. The green color signifies the temperate, blue the subtropical, and the red color is tropical. There are 3 agroclimatic zones in this particular state. I want to brief something about the senior citizens or advisory lab of Manipur in the Palace. The left, as I have told, it has 2 levels. Level number 1 has our mentioned is in the standard of agro-ecological, and level number 2 where maximum faculties scientists from ICAR. When the level number 1 is just the phone activity, the mobile phone, the toll-free number, and they will give advisories to the local dialect also. The common profile is displayed in expert system installed in this particular expert test, and the advisory solutions are also provided internally. If the query is given to level number 1 expert, then the query will be referred to level number 2 expert. The lab has a full and full-scale advisory services, which advisory information are displayed in the topic variant. This is an activity Shravan on the upper area. First, the work starts with the assessment of farmers and their crop survey. Second, it is followed by content-driven communication, followed by transmission of content to local dialect, awareness programs, farmer registration, digital development of the farmers, provision of documented advisory services, planning and demonstration of the impact assessment. These are the content that is going in the project, and the project performance that I can show from there is needed information need assessment and help of service so far 1,130% accomplished. We have so far 104 content development. There was registration of 10,647 farmers in the entire preparatory group in Southeast Asia. Now, with respect to this particular domain of the natural resource management, the project has identified water smart natural resource management. There are 5 sub-dimensions and one was integrated watershed development at high altitude and rural terrain. Second is soil water conservation through development of both deep, equitable and marginal. Third is rainwater harvesting for multi-purpose use of integrated farming system. Fourth, the raised and sunken plantation technology fit micro-irrigation for high-value agriculture and horticultural crops. Second was the soil smart natural resource management. First one is half one heritage for each conservation of soil nutrients. Second thing, intermittent soil testing, use of soil health and estimation of soil health testing phase. Agriculture test farming system of sustainability to farm land based. The third one, and fourth one was zero to minimum production of feed, until and recipe rice. This one was maize strength pin cropping system for enhancing nitrogen fixation. This is the third domain, last domain about natural resource management, which is the second category. First one was on SRI. The second on backyard vertical farming. Third is on intensive organic display production and under low cost plastic tunnels. Fourth one is then the IPM was present. Fifth one being low cost structures of propagation of horticultural crops to distributed terrain. On view of this change, we have developed a targeted proposition of the climate smart agricultural services acceptance model on climate smart natural resource management. Content on climate smart natural resource management is that exogenous variable, where trust is also one of the exogenous variables, which is followed by perceived usefulness of on climate smart natural resource management, which is the endogenous variable. Similarly, percentage of use of on climate smart natural resource management is also an endogenous variable. All will make intention to accept on climate smart natural resource management. This is a theoretical framework which has been so far developed. In this theoretical framework, we have developed 6 hypotheses. First hypothesis being context on climate smart natural resource management has a positive and direct effect on perceived usefulness. Similarly, in hypothesis number 2, context has a positive and a direct effect on a perceived use of use. Hypothesis number 3 says that perceived use of use positively affects perceived usefulness. Then hypothesis number 4, trust positively influences intention to accept. Hypothesis number 5, perceived usefulness positively affects intention to accept. And number 6, last one is perceived use of use positively influences intention to accept. Now this is an structured question modeling output from SPSS MOS.
Dr. R.J. Singh, your time is over already. Please conclude within 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And from this, we could find the model has a great fit in all activities classified by degree of freedom, DFI, then standardized root mean square, then root mean square approximation, and then here is the part coefficient and the p-value of all the IS1, IS2 acid, all are significant at 5% level of significance. However, for what is P2IA is significant at 0.01. Therefore, I conclude that the smartphone agricultural services effective model of employee is a very successful one or employing the private farmers of Meghalaya providing right information and right to a smartphone based agricultural service system on climate smart business relation agriculture and the like enterprises by private farmers of the huge state of Meghalaya. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. RJ Singh. Thank you very much. So, yeah. Now we can have the question hour. If somebody has question, few question we can take. Otherwise, in question answer, it can be seen. I think there are two questions related to Dr. Subhasis Mandal. It is written that is deregulation APMC right step? First question. And second is what are the key strategies for effective function of FPOs? If Dr. Mandal, yeah, he is very much here. So two questions are there, sir. One regarding the FPO strategy and another is deregulation. So I think you are the proper person to reply these. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this very pertinent question that is the deregulating APMC right step? I think Dr. Umid Singh has asked this question. Yeah. What it has been seen that after this threshold ordinances that has been brought, already we have seen that some of the state government, they are opposing it. Like Punjab, Punjab CM has already written to the center that they are opposing it. But the thing is that if we do not make kind of deregulation, which was expected to do for a long time, it was a long due to give the farmers free and fair market. And if we do not deregulate APMC, possibly that we will not never know that what will be the impact on the farmers, because after the independence, it has been regulated so far. So we know that what is happening in the regulation, farmers is what they are getting and what they are not getting. But once it is deregulated, then only we can say that what can be the impact. So possibly in that way, it is the right step. And also we are seeing that the state like Bihar, West Bengal, where the small and marginal farmers are more. So most of the transaction, it is happening outside of the APMC. So there won't be very much impact also on that. Like 80 to 85% transaction was already happening. Rather than it will be helpful if some more buyers are coming. So I think in that sense, it is much needed step, and we have to see that how it is happening. Okay. And secondly, that what are the key strategies for effective functions of FPOs? Yeah, that's a really very good thing, that effective functioning. And we have seen that some of the FPOs, they're really they're doing very nice work, and they're excelling expectation. They are going beyond the expectation. For example, in some of the FPOs in West Bengal, they have been identified by the state government to give the training for the skill development to the farmers, like what the research organization of the State Agriculture University technical persons are doing. That has been given to that task to the that FPOs. That means they are showing by the results that, for example, the biofloc means cultivations, and then the conservation agricultural practices going to the farmers field, animal components, because they are the grassroots organization and they are all attached with the farmers. So what we observe, that the biggest advantage or the biggest strategy that is needed for the FPOs, that the farmers, the CEO and the board members, they have to be very active, number one. And then secondly, it's not the dearth of money. It's not the dearth of money that FPOs, if the good working FPOs are there, they will be fund flow to that FPO. So it will be how best you can keep engaged those the members of the FPOs, how we can keep the interest of those farmers. And then finally, what we have observed, that one of the lacuna, that it must have some kind of professional linkages, professional personal linkages, so that like some state agriculture universities or the research organizations, or so that they will be helping the business development, that what can be the right technologies for these farmers based on this agro-ecological system, so that they can take those technologies, particularly the KVKs also, they will be very much helpful for giving that technical backup to the farmers through these FPOs, and FPOs will take forward that one. So it is the professional help that is very much essential for the right strategy and the utilization, how the fund will be utilized through the appropriate business model. For that also they need kind of, because we cannot expect that farmers to give that kind of a business development plan. So I think these are the main, and some of the things already have been taken care in the very recently, that guideline have been, means a new guideline has come for the EP implementation, and where these resource organizations, they have been given more importance, and the professional attachment will be more. And I think that way we can go forward.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Mandal. I think things are clear for both the question from your side. Now, any more question from the participant side? So, if not, then I'm moving to, means for closing the session. Before that, I would like to mention here that there were total 13 paper, including 2 keynotes and 11 oral presentation. So out of 11 oral presentation, 10 papers have been presented, and I appreciate the effort of the organizer, that they have, I think, before giving the invitation, they have scrutinized all the paper well, and what I could see, the paper which are covering the wider range of the aspects of the topic, and which were the means need of the hours for this particular conference on the natural resource, like that. So taking the sustainable livelihood, then in that particular paper, the doubling farmer income, that strategy also I could see. Then the water productivity, the option means given as sprinkler for the optimum use of the resource. Then watershed means impact, those types means things also means need of the hours, particularly in the hilly region, and the agri-tourism also has the ample scope for the entrepreneurship development for the youth in agriculture. And then the forecasting model, which is very important for all, not only for the social scientists, it is also very highly important for the crop scientists, for the prediction of the acreage or prediction of the yield, production. All those aspects can be covered under the forecasting model. Then the bamboo, as you know, the backbone of livelihood of particularly the hilly region people, the bamboo livelihood also presented in this session. Then conservation agriculture, I could see the mulching and all those are having the impact on yield, as well as on the to maintain the fertility and productivity of the soil. Then the horticulture mission, then PM Kisan scheme, as well as the ICT tool means in last paper, which has the means ample scope. As you know, during this corona disease, the FAO already appreciated this mission, which mission the university has handed over to the state government of Meghalaya to the watershed development program. And I would like to mention here about the two keynote speakers. They have tried a lot to correlate these two papers with the theme of the conference. As Dr. Manker has mentioned, she found the inverse relationship in benefit from forest and agriculture land of those benefits. So it is apparent also. And same time, Dr. Mandal, friend of mine, has means elaborated very comprehensively all the scheme, recent scheme, and means last phase scheme also, and the reform carried out for the benefit of the farmers, particularly for the marginal and small farmers. What reforms have been taken up by the central government and different means state governments also he has presented. So I appreciate, and we should give a big hand to them that they have tried a lot to justify their presentation as per the theme. Same time, I appreciate the effort of the organizer that they are having the conference on the agriculture resource management for Atmanirbhar Bharat. They have taken this special theme on socio-economic. So really it is the appreciable effort. I congratulate to all the team, organizing team, especially Dr. Haldhar, Dr. Firoz, and Dr. Shastri, taken up means the topic, as well as per the topic you have justified the different themes also, and same time paper also. Here I would like to thank to both of my friend, this rapporteur, Dr. Deepak Nath and Dr. Lalrin Sankui. So thank you very much. And if any closing remarks from my chairperson, Dr. Manker, that most welcome.
Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you for the remarks that you made. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, anything, Dr. Haldhar. So now I am handing over the session to Dr. Haldhar.
Thank you, sir. Very nice presentation, and also you are the co-chairman and chairman, and Dr. Hevat from South Africa. Very nice taken this session completely on optimum management of farm resources for social and economic development. That is essential, and outcome is main. So social and economic development, that's why we taken this as a Atmanirbhar Bharat. So for formal vote of thanks, I request to Dr. Firoz sir to give the vote of thanks to this session.
So before Dr. Firoz, before starting the formal vote of thanks, I could not thank to all the paper presenter. So from my behalf and behalf of the organizing team, I would like to thank to the paper presenter for their nice effort. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Dr. Ram Singh. You did my job actually. So I will take hardly any time now. So by this, we come to the end of the session 5, which is related to the socioeconomic theme. And let me first thank the lead speakers, two lead speakers, Dr. Hevat Menkar and Dr. Subhasis Mandal. Both of you have done great job and justice to the session actually. So my special thank to both of you, and specifically to Dr. Tivitwankar, because she may be waking up early in the morning in her place, I think, and it may be cold also there. So special thank to you, madam. And Dr. Subhasis Mandal, who is my dear senior, and you presented excellently. So I thank on behalf of the organizer, Central Agriculture University, especially to you. And moreover, out of 11 papers, there were 10 papers were presented, and these 10 papers were presented by some of the young students and some of the renowned scientists. So all the speakers deserve special thank from the part of the organizer. I also thank all the supporting staff who helped us to conduct this particular session. And definitely I will thank at the end Dr. Ram Singh, who actually conducted the session nicely, and I will say like a military captain or marshal, sticking to the time, which is very important. Sometimes we feel bad out of it, sometimes when we ask somebody to stop presenting, but it is necessary to conduct in time and be in time. So special thank to Dr. Ram Singh sir also. So by this, we actually sign up for this session. We will be meeting in the next session. Thank you all for your kind cooperation.
Just before everyone goes, the next session will start at 2 o'clock. And the important thing is that the presentations are being evaluated, and therefore the presentations will also be awarded. So let us wait for the results of all these sessions. So the agricultural engineering for renewable and non-renewable energy resources, which will be chaired by Professor N.S. Rathod from Udaipur. He is Vice Chancellor of Maharana Pratap University of Agriculture and Technology, co-chaired by Professor P.P. Dabral, who is Dean of CIE PhD. So do join us. We are on, but for half an hour, we are taking a technical break. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.